Welcome to the Leog We Done Fucked Up Again episode.
Fail.
Total fail.
Halloween fail every year.
Oh, I'm so depressed. I wish I was allowed to show you the picture that would Kristen took of me at that exact moment that I realized that this sucker was just gone.
Well, what kills me is you
sad.
go in to check on it and you go, I don't think it all recorded. And first thing I heard out of your mouth after you've been futzing with it for a while was 10 minutes. And I was like, well, shit, that's a bummer if we lost the last 10 minutes, but I guess we can re-record that. And you go like, we lost everything but the first 10 minutes.
You're like, oh. Okay, that being said, I do have that 10 minutes, and, I do have it, so at the very least it's something. So, you know what? Let's do our introductions real quick for who's here, and then I'll play that. I'll just edit that in so you guys can hear what there was before somebody tripped over the cables.
Oh, crap.
Someone not here. Someone not of the Leog.
Let me see if I got this correctly. Every time we lose one of these, it's because we're using somebody else's equipment, and there's somebody who isn't part of our group who messes with said equipment.
Yes, both times that has been the problem.
Okay. So it's not so much a Halloween curse.
I think it's just that we're dumb enough on Halloween to
kind of like get lax and go like, oh, hey,
it'll be
fine.
But
that and you ran over that gypsy woman on the way to the party. I think you're foolish to be ruling out direct sabotage. Honestly, I mean, you know.
What you think this is
Well,
like?
it could be a campaign, a conspiracy against the Leog.
Theorists.
I saw someone suggested that Corey
I was going to
trying
say
to attack
the third element is that Corey's been there both times.
That's true. Corey was there both times. He's like, do unplug.
Wow. You know, and now come to think of it, at both those recordings, he made very sincere speeches about how much he likes the show, and even though he thinks he doesn't listen to it, he does.
But now there's no proof of him making those speeches.
That's true.
Gremlins.
But anyway, for this week, the I'm Sorry episode, I'm Cyrus.
I'm Leon.
I'm Harris.
I'm Allison.
I'm Randy.
and Grant.
And Grant.
As the beaver.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It felt like that at the
Special
end of the
guest
episode.
star.
I'm Grant.
Grant as the Grant. So let's just go ahead and, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just edit in right here that 10 minutes so you can hear hear it, and you can feel that point where it's leading up to it. And you'll know right when it's about to cut because there's all this like, hey, oh, dude, what'd you do?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because I know I wasn't even in this 10 minutes at all.
No, I was in like the first 5 minutes of it, I think.
Who is
and then
in
I
it?
left. I don't know who's in the second half. I just cut it to where right before it cut to listen and go, oh, wow. It's like the black box on the Titanic. That feels like
The Titanic. A black box on the Titanic would have had shoes in it.
No, they had two gerbils running around on a wheel. It worked. Anyway, here it is. Well, it's another year, and it's another Leog Halloween party,
Yeah, we finally got this shit up and running.
and I take complete and utter responsibility for that.
You mean for the Halloween horror podcast, the last issue?
We're not going to talk about the last 20 minutes of the last issue because
Oh, God.
I don't want Leon to feel bad, so we're not going to give him shit about
Leon.
that. Yeah, Leon. The whole paranormal activity. Me.
Oh, you mean you don't want Bo to feel bad for busting out all the windows in your house?
That's true. It got a little loud.
He got a little loud, just a little bit. So yeah, happy Halloween, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Of course, you're going to be hearing this after Halloween, but here we are at my domicile, tucked away safely in my little lair.
Yes, the Halloween party rotates every year now among the Leog crowd, and this year it was Jason Stern, which we informed him with a lawyer and a legal letter, which I'm sure wasn't really the most
Someone's knocking at the door,
actually
Cyrus.
At the door of the
Come
Magical
in.
Lounge. Who could it be?
Who could it be?
Oh, it's Josh.
It's Josh.
Josh, what's your name on Spill? I can't remember. The Dork Knight.
Dork Knight.
Yes.
The Dork Knight's in his house.
Actually moved to Austin to be with us.
Really? That is fucking sad.
But yes, we're here.
plan was to skin him.
You're going to skin me?
Wear you like a suit.
Oh, well, you're not the first, so.
Bought me a beer and
Sexy.
I bought you a beer. That was enough? Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, okay, so we're here at Jason's Halloween party.
I'm sorry. If you're going to wear somebody's suit as a skin, you can pick somebody way sexier than a member of the league.
Mary is sitting right here, so.
Yeah.
You know.
So if you want to be Slave Leia, if you want to be a beautiful butterfly,
She's smaller than you. It'll stretch.
Yeah, exactly.
One size fits all.
So,
You know.
so you were doing some introduction or something?
Oh yes, this is the League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen. We're already a little half lit because I screwed up and brought everything here for the recording, except for the extremely specific power cord I needed for my mixing.
What time is it? It's like 12:30, right?
Yeah, it's 12:27, and
Okay.
Jason, of course, lives like halfway to Alaska, so there was no way I was driving
much.
back to my house.
I live
to
in
get
Alpha
it.
Flight country.
Yes, you do. But we are going to be coming and going from these mics and trading off because the way it got set up, Corey saved our ass and brought his mixing board, ironically forgetting his unique power cord for it too.
Yeah.
But we found a way to make it work just off phantom power, so it's like 2 mics at a time. I'm sorry, that's all it is. You're gonna have to hear from more entertaining people than me. So we're just gonna be rotating this out.
Yeah, so I want to apologize in advance for the drunk in advance, not even in advance, for the drunken screaming match that was the horror episode. There were a couple of culprits that were more guilty than others, but that's okay. But anyway, moving right along, it's Halloween fucking night, my favorite night of the year.
It is the best holiday there is.
Yes.
There's just no argument.
And Cyrus, you are dressed up as
a Shaolin monk.
yes, and it's a pretty damn good costume, I might
Thank
add.
you. And you are frightening yourself, dressed up as Norman Bates
Yes.
in his mother finest.
Dowdy dress, old woman's wig, and everything. And of course, we have league favorite Mary.
Hello, hello. I am Princess Leia for the second year in a row due to some unforeseen financial circumstances, but I don't think anybody here is going to complain about my costume.
I am not complaining. I mean, I've seen you in that costume 50, 60 times now, although admittedly usually in a lower light than this.
I don't think they need to know.
I'm going to give
Well,
the
they need
microphone
to
to
know
someone
that.
else now.
Anyway, I think we're gonna move on here in a second. I just want to say, like, we're gonna be getting steadily drunker here. So
Yeah, we're not nearly drunk enough, and it's
No,
already midnight.
you
I
haven't
mean,
even seen anything.
shit.
So the opinions of Leog in this podcast are not necessarily the opinions of Leog.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and Fungus Monkey, I didn't tell you this, but Fungus Monkey, on the site, Fungus Monkey, brought us some Johnny Walker Black Label.
Oh,
By us, I mean me. So, if you're nice.
so you mean you're bringing that over to the collection next week? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What I'll be bringing over to the collection is a bottle of Windex that Randy had under his counter marked as the good stuff.
Oh God, it's Everclear. Why is it cloudy?
Well, the best Everclear is cloudy.
Yeah, fair enough. You want the stuff with the stuff in it.
Yes.
Anyway,
So
let's-
we're going to try to cycle everybody in here.
In and out.
Most of the league is here. I think the only ones not here so far are
Yeah, who are we missing? I can't even keep
Kayla
track
was
anymore.
here, but Kayla already took off. And who else? Co-host isn't here yet, but he's supposed to be here.
No, only these two mics, I'm
No,
afraid.
here. And you know what? I'm going to step out and refresh my beer and hand it over to Angelus.
I think he means me.
Yes.
Hello.
That would be Angelus, the
Holy,
artist formerly known as Bo.
holy crap. What's going on in here?
No, we were discussing Halloween and we're discussing our costumes. Bo is indeed dressed as not Angel but Angelus.
Yes, I had some wonderful help getting my makeup done, which I am not a makeup artist, but we have several lovely ladies of Leog that were able to help me out with that. So,
Indeed.
Got the little appliance on the forehead and some contact lenses, which have worked out really awesome. In fact, I got to say, I think that the company is called Creative, and that they only do contact lenses. But by God, check them out because they're so fucking comfortable. I'm amazed.
Yeah, those creep me out every time I look at you.
Yeah, and everybody's been looking at them all through the night, going like, "What's wrong with you? Oh, your irises are yellow."
Now, do they glow in a black light or anything like that?
I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
We have no way of trying out because we went a little more half-hearted than we did in previous years here at the Halloween decorations.
Let's not start.
Not
just
to point any fingers.
Just because you and I are Halloween perfectionists.
Just because we're way more queer for Halloween than anyone else on the planet.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes,
actually,
which
What-
is the
what are
only
you
fair
gonna
way to say it.
do? I'm not complaining. Like, what are you
No.
gonna do? I mean, we're like the type of guys that when you say, you know what, we're gonna splatter this wall with blood, we're concerned about symmetry.
Like, I know where they slaughter pigs. I'm just saying, I mean, it's just for one night. What? You own Clorox, right? That's no problem to clean up.
The rest of the year, I'm completely sane.
Yeah, no, it's just like, when I was living with Cyrus, we did, I put up a little bit of like a Christmas display. I put some lights out, and I think Cyrus maybe noticed, like, a couple of days before Christmas, he's like, hey, there are lights outside. Who put those up?
Well, that's because that's Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm more of a Halloween
But
guy.
yeah, Halloween, it was just like, I was like, let's do a party, and we all got together, and we both, like, spent way more money than we should on the party, and, like, at the very end, I was just like, wow, we're both really queer for Halloween, and then Cyrus was calling me during Halloween day and being like, so where are you? We have stuff to do. Not all of the decorations are up. Where are you? 10, 12, 13.
Well, see,
like,
Bo
oh, God.
used to me being a little laid back about most things.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It'll be cool. It'll work itself out. But when it came to Halloween,
it's all good.
it's like the moment he said, let's do a Halloween party. He left work, came home that day, and there was like, about $800 worth of Halloween shit piled up in the living room.
like,
Let's get started. And it was July.
Oh my God! I've activated some kind of horrible Martha Stewart zombie.
Exactly, pretty much. I am going to temporarily hand this microphone off to Josh for a minute here, and I'm going to go get another member of the league to come in because we're going to just keep cycling in and out of here. So this is Josh / the Dork Knight.
Yes, who actually moved here after the spill party because he liked Austin so much.
Yes, he did. Here you go, Josh. I'll be back in a little while, and there'll be another league member here in just a second.
Please come back quickly.
Well, it's no big deal.
We'll
We'll do a little interview bit. How are you enjoying your Halloween? First Halloween in Austin, I'm sure.
I am loving it so
Yep.
far.
And you're doing really well. You're doing kind of a vampire disco stew theme here.
I
if
was
I'm
Disco
not completely...
Stew last year.
And now
I had
you
to
are...
recycle, so I figured I'd add the fangs.
And now we're Disco Stew of the Undead.
Yes.
So, very nice. A little Shaun of the Dead, like, upgrade. So, not bad.
I had to
Disco
represent the
Stew
show.
is Disco Dead. Oh, well, we did get some Leog members in here. We got we have Grant and the lovely Allison. So, anybody want to grab a mic or? There we go. Grant.
Hey, everyone. That's right.
Hey.
Mr. Scott Summers is here.
There we go. Yes,
Leader of the X-Men.
we do have a we've knocked over some equipment, but I think everything's okay. Hopefully.
Whoa, who would think at a Halloween podcast that there would be drunken...
Okay, and we're back from that.
Wow,
yeah,
that's it, huh?
That's depressing.
Yeah.
That didn't even seem like 10 minutes.
I think there was good stuff, but
I mean,
I'm
so
not
much
sure.
gold lost to the ages.
And the thing was, like, I talked to the guys at Eric and Roy over at Tribe Comics, and they were telling me how much they were looking forward to us having a big drunken podcast on Halloween, like we usually do.
Did
As
we
opposed to all the
actually do
sober
that?
ones?
Podcast.
I know. Well, that was the thing. Yeah, that was my joke. I was like, which are the sober ones?
Yeah.
Yes, it
Tune
is.
in next week.
It's not like we didn't do a horror or a Halloween one this year. We did two.
Yeah.
That made it to the site. We did a Vertigo horror comics one, and we
Okay, that's
did one
true.
with horror movies. So, I mean, last year the Halloween party one was actually a makeup for the actual Halloween episode that got fucked
right.
up. The one that was just us recording a straight
Yeah.
thing. So this year it was in reverse, and well,
Well, the thing
Sweet
that
irony.
also sucks is that, like, except for Greg, I think we were all there. Everybody was in costume, and Jason threw a kick-ass party. It was a lot of fun.
Sure, it was great. It wasn't
Yeah.
as good as mine, but it was pretty damn good.
It's really that important to you.
What?
That's so sad.
Well, I can't even enter, other types of measuring contests, so not in this room.
Okay, all right. if you need to have had the best party, you had the best party.
Hey, it works for Howard Stern. Okay, so we'll get back to that in a minute. We're going to dive in and out, but I know there's a lot of people waiting.
Ready for questions?
There's waiting live for questions here because we decided, you know what, we got nothing. So we're just going to get in the league lounge and to the chat room, and there's like apparently 800 people in there.
No way.
And
Right
so
on.
we're gonna take some questions here. Oh boy, people are ready. If you could write your own comic book What would you write about, and who would you have write, ink, and color it? Why not ask an easy question, Roger Dodger?
Wow.
What the hell is that? It's like, and here's what you ask for the rest
How about
of
this
the
one?
episode.
Caitlin asks, "What is the league's favorite Halloween candy?"
Ooh, Reese's.
Reese's.
Oh, Reese's peanut butter cups.
Candy corn.
Candy
Wow.
corn.
Okay.
You don't belong here.
Hey,
Hey, candy corn doesn't qualify. It goes on until Thanksgiving.
I'll be a man who will fight for your honor.
Thank you.
I also say candy corn.
Candy
It's the
corn.
only time it's appropriate.
I love me some candy corn, especially the pumpkin candy corn.
Oh, those little pumpkins.
Man,
oh.
it's just like triple the
They're
candy
okay.
corn.
Okay,
Okay,
Into
all
a
right. You know what?
pumpkin.
Now that you've come in to take her side, I'm gonna have to jump off because I just realized what my favorite Halloween candy is. I don't even know why I didn't think of this at first.
Oh
It's black
boy,
licorice?
it's those giant peanut marshmallow things.
No, those are gross.
Oh,
dude.
it's Peeps.
Peeps. That's Easter candy.
Oh, but you could eat them. They're candy.
They make
They make
pumpkin
orange.
peeps.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know they did.
Peeps
God
are,
knows
Peeps are
they'll
only
la-
good for sticking in the microwave.
God knows they'll last you until Halloween.
Yeah, I kind of think that Reese's are year round, so that shouldn't count.
Exactly. But you know what?
But what's yours?
Let them have it. Oh, it's the flavored Tootsie Rolls. Like all the rest of the year, you only get the
Yes.
chocolate ones, but only in Halloween you get
Well,
the.
But it takes you like a
the
year to chew one of
raspberry.
Those things, those things get stuck all my teeth.
No, like the
and
little ones,
yeah.
the
That's
the
'cause they're
lime,
so
lemon,
I feel this-
orange.
People have them.
Yeah,
year
the
after
same
year.
way I am about Starburst with those. It's just a now
Yeah.
and later and stuff, or is it now and later or now?
Now and later,
Now and
yeah.
later.
It's just like, oh man, it take an hour just peeling the entire single piece of candy out of the crevices of my mouth.
So that's
Dude,
what I like
no
about like
thanks.
Charleston Chews. I used to love those as a kid just
Oh my
because you'd
God.
have those for days.
or a Jawbreaker. You just sit there and suck on that
Yeah,
thing.
I don't
all
want
day.
my candy to be that much of a commitment.
Yeah, I like Reese's. It's
Yeah.
quick. It's
This-
over quickly, but you know the memory of it lasts.
There
a
is something
life.
about the peanut butter in a Reese's that is just so fake tasting to me.
It's a very unique type of peanut butter flavor, and I understand what
Synthetic.
you can say. Yeah, okay, and sure enough, I mean, any commercial peanut butter is filled with wax and weird shit like that doesn't belong in peanut butter. It's just a very distinctive type of fake that we grew up with. So
That-
you
no,
know,
that's
like, you
true.
know,
it's the
I like the way they
texture as
melt
much as
so
anything.
easily.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what it comes down to. And I have found like every so often I get that Jones where I like, ooh, Reese's peanut butter cup. I'm gonna buy this.
Put it in the fridge.
Well, but I eat one of them, and it's just such an overload of everything that I don't even want the second one.
Put it in the fridge and eat put it in pieces. That's the best way to eat Reese's.
I really love getting the. I mean, this works for Christmas also, but the Rolos when they have the Halloween pack of Rolos.
What's the
Rolos
yes.
kick ass.
Yeah, Rolos are good. Just,
Actually, it's
like
funny.
So
On-
pure too, just chocolate and caramel.
As our candies go, I don't know why I feel like that's like a segue, but I'm gonna make it one. The Reasons, RIE.
dude,
Oh.
those are badass.
Those are amazing. You can just let those melt in your mouth for like
Yeah.
an
And-
hour, and they're awesome.
They're like old
like
man
them.
candies.
man candy.
Reasons and Werthers I kind of lump into the
Yeah.
same old man
Yeah.
candy. But man, that's a better grandpa that gives you reasons.
Even
Yeah.
so,
True.
this is like the most inappropriate league question of all time. Where we were like, so they spent an hour talking about fucking candy.
It's the candy episode.
So really?
I'm still in denial about Halloween.
Meanwhile, somewhere deep in the bowels of Nestle, yes, yes.
Yeah, what no one really knows is that Caitlin actually works for Cadbury, and they're plotting the takeover.
Oh, it looks like we have another appearance of Mr. Flesh Eater. There's a new person called Someone who asks, "Why do you all suck?" It's like, well,
Because
looks
your
like
mom
I'll
asked
be-
nicely.
Wow.
Oh, there's the
Nice.
answer right there.
Looks like we'll be banning later this evening. Let's see. Steve Arami says, "My question is, what people do you want to see from history or pop culture? I assume they meant to become a Black Lantern. Thanks."
I believe I
We've
already
answered
asked
this
that.
before.
Yeah, we
answered that. I wanted Michael
did.
Jackson
Yeah.
as to come back from the dead, and someone said, "Oh yeah, it's Thriller," and I was like, "Oh, I wasn't even thinking Thriller."
God, these
That's even
people,
more brilliant.
Look at this. Favorite books, favorite color. Y'all are just off the top of your head like, I don't know. I'm looking at quizzes on Facebook and getting my questions.
Hey,
There's a good one from Spider John. What
Spider
non-geek
John.
authors do you guys recommend?
I don't know if I know any non-geek authors.
Of course you do.
I right now, maybe it's just that he's got his movies coming out, but I'm loving Cormac McCarthy's books.
Oh yeah.
He just has this writing style that I think I was reading before that he likes to keep short sentences that always have an action
Right.
within the sentence. He has a similar writing style to Chuck Palahniuk.
Yeah.
Fight
yeah,
Club
from Fight
guy.
Club. Right.
Really?
And-
Really? I don't think I
and,
compare the two of them.
Well, they have a similar style that they
sort of
write, but
punchy.
Not they don't have the same ideas.
No, I know
And they
that.
all
I
end
just
the
still
same
wouldn't.
way. The
I don't
world
know.
is a dark and empty place, and we all
Yeah.
die
Now
alone.
that is a similarity.
Yeah.
That I would agree with.
Well, I loved about. I mean, I've read The Road and some of No Country, and what I like about McCarthy is that there's no chapter breaks. It just kind of keeps going.
Yeah.
And I thought I would find that really annoying, but it's really, really grabbing.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that, but I would say that, like, as far as non-geek goes, geeks like magical stuff, so I would say Gabriel Garcia Marquez, because it's all very magical, but not geeky, more, okay, yes, depressing, and the world is a dark, empty place, and we all die alone, but with magic.
I think that automatically makes it geeky, though. I think that's like, because there's like, I know what you mean. There's a lot of authors that I think are, like I'd say Neil Stephenson, but come on, the guy's like written science fiction.
He's written time travel.
He's not
quantum
writing that
physics
stuff
books.
anymore, but even so, he's writing about guys who spent all their time decoding cryptograms or ancient tiny little pieces of history. It's like, that's still geek stuff.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like how far, what escapes the realm of geek? Because I would say somebody like Donald Westlake, who writes light detective fiction.
Yeah.
But now he's got a graphic novel, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really, I think when we say geek, we mean the people who are hanging out in the sci-fi fantasy section of the bookstore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and if you get out of it, you can find stuff that'll appeal to similar interests. Like, I've been getting into Barry Eisler's Hard Rain series, where the main character is he's an assassin whose specialty is making it look like natural causes.
Huh.
So he'll make someone look like they've had a heart attack by disrupting their pacemaker.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
I have heard about that. I'm not sure if it was you that was mentioning it, but yeah, I had heard about that.
Yeah, I just read Joe R. Lansdale, another guy with comic connections, but not really a geek author.
He's so a geek author.
But I read his first Hap and Leonard book.
Dude,
I've read all
great.
his Hap and
He's
Leonard.
good friends with Rick Claw. That by default.
Yeah, right,
makes him
exactly.
a geek author.
Yeah.
Well, maybe what makes you a non-geek author is if you can talk about it with your East Coast penny loafer wearing I write for the New York Times friends.
We don't even have friends like
How do you know my
Yeah.
friends?
I have a few friends like that.
No,
that. They don't talk back. to
somebody.
you.
This
Sure
is
they do. They don't listen to Leon, though.
this
Right.
isn't fiction. I don't know, but actually Dan Savage.
Yes.
I just read his two books. His one about the commitment, which is about him getting married, and the one about them adopting a kid. And they're hilarious and really touching and really, really good.
Is he the guy who wrote
He's-
about the man purse?
It might be. He's a sex columnist out of Seattle. He's,
Right.
And his sex column is hysterical, and his podcast is hysterical. But this is like his autobiographical stuff, and it's fantastic.
Right. Savage
Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am familiar with that column.
Okay, right
Yeah,
on.
It's good.
It's
Oh,
funny
that
as hell.
dude. Okay.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
two sort of autobiography books. We're
Biography.
both. Thank you. We're both really, really good and really funny and really touching. I really liked them.
There's so many people. I've always been a bibliophile, no matter what it was: fiction, nonfiction, sci-fi, fantasy. And I guess that's it, right? That's all there is. Right? I like all kinds of stuff. And one of my favorite writers is Dan Simmons, who started doing horror, moved on to fantasy, and then to historical fiction. And now he's doing just really inventive stuff all across the board. His newest book is called Drood, which sets up a mystery around Charles Dickens and why he never finished.
His great unfinished play,
His
The
great
Mystery of
unfinished-
Edwin Drood.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
And he wrote a book about Ernest Hemingway when he was in Cuba and how the CIA recruited him, or I guess the OSS at that point, to watch out for Nazis. And it makes up this whole kind of plausible spy story that would have happened with Ernest Hemingway involved in it. That's
That
just
sounds cool as hell.
amazing. He's one of the best writers working today, really is. But he's better known for his best known for his sci-fi book Hyperion, which was just widely regarded as a masterpiece when it came out about 20 years ago.
I had a hard time getting into that because the first part of the Hyperion saga was basically Canterbury Tales, just done on a spaceship.
Yeah, it was definitely based on that. But I mean, come on, almost all the big fantasy and sci-fi is based on some earlier thing on some level. I mean, look at Dune.
Yeah, there's like lately with like sci-fi and fantasy. I've really been getting into stuff that's not based on typical European French English settings. Like Guy Gavriel Kay did a series called The Lions of Al-Rassan, where the setting is Moorish occupied Spain. And he did another one called Sailing to Sarantium, which is all about Constantinople and the Eastern Roman Empire.
It's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
And why'd they change that?
It's nobody's business with the Turks.
I couldn't help myself.
That's precious.
I do want to throw in, just for the hell of it, Tim Sandlin is a really good non-geek writer, and Jerzy Kosinski, who's one of the really, really great guys from the 60s and 70s, who won the Pulitzer Prize for his book about, supposedly autobiographical, but no one really knows, about him and as a little kid surviving by himself for 3 years in Nazi Germany, or in Poland during the reign of Nazi Germany. That's really phenomenal, but everything he did is so absolutely incredible and disturbing, and yeah, totally worth checking out. Anybody else have anything else they want to add to that before we go to the next
You know what?
question?
I have like a couple of authors in my head, and yet I'm totally drawing a blank.
You're just blanking out.
Yeah.
There's one, if we went into nonfiction, that I do enjoy is Henry Petrosky. He writes engineering, social history type books. That, where he
sorry, what?
exploits, he talks about the history of design through certain elements, like how the fork was invented, basically, as he traces through history, and how things. It's kind of a similar style to how Malcolm Gladwell will tell stories. He's another author, I guess, I really like.
Wow, I never heard of him.
Period.
I mean, I like some nonfiction, like anthropological stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the same stuff that's popular with everyone else. But
Is that a euphemism for sex manuals?
Damn it! You see right through me.
Like a pane of glass, my friend.
You know what? Let's go back to the party for a minute. Anybody have any stories to relate from that crazy party? What'd you all dress up as? I know I was like Shaolin,
It might
a
not
fat
be on
Shaolin monk.
Oh, you were no fat
I
Shaolin
thought
monk.
that
You,
there were
you were a
pictures.
Chinese dry cleaner.
I was
Yes.
with weapons.
Yeah, don't put
Cyrus
yourself
had
down.
some
Where are those
badass kitchen utensils. Weapons.
They're like, there's a name for them, but I was like, they're mezzalunas.
In the event that you're attacked by some parsley, Cyrus is ready to spring into action.
Well, you like that Nazi in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where you pull those out and everybody goes, and then you start cutting celery with them.
Well, I gotta say, Leon's outfit was badass.
Did you guys like
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah,
it was
super
good.
badass.
Wow.
He dressed as Samuel L. Jackson,
Well,
and it was cool.
As ultimate Nick Fury.
Yes, ultimately.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Is
funny.
that who you were?
I thought Grant's like, I think it's cool you always dress like Samuel Jackson. All the time.
Well, it was funny that the party had 3 Samuel Jacksons.
It
at
did.
Yeah.
You, Tony Bowler, and Corey
Yeah,
were
yeah.
all
Low Clef
Clef.
and Corey all showed up they both showed up as Jules from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, one early film, one late in the film.
And let's not forget some other notable ones, like Allison showing up with a handmade mermaid costume. Which
Yeah,
is
that thing
unbelievable.
rocked.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Full of wind.
Thank you very much. It took
If
me.
we put pictures up, you guys are gonna see this. Well, if that's cool with Allison.
No,
But it looks
I've
awesome.
already. Bo asked earlier if pictures were okay, and I mean, pictures of me in the Dr. Ex-Girlfriend costume showed up, so I figured, whatever.
You look great in that costume too.
So
You made both those costumes, right?
yeah,
Good lord.
I know.
it's a habit. I'm a junkie for
I
making
need you
stuff.
to. I'll pay you to make you a costume for me that looks exactly like me, but 50 pounds lighter.
Okay. Check.
And Harris, Randy.
Harris, go. You.
You were next in line. Come
Well,
on.
yeah, since I was here, I basically went as a Hollywood producer.
Oh,
That makes sense. Yeah.
That was
So
great.
he was in a nice outfit with some devil horns.
Yeah, and I had thrown together a hobo Thor costume.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's what that was.
That
a
was what
hobo
that was.
Thor?
Yeah,
His
the
t-shirt
helmet
said-
broke on the way
His
in.
T-shirt said "Will smite trolls for what?
For food.
For food.
In a brown
Yeah.
plastic bag that says, "He who holds this ripple is the power of Thor."
It's funny. It reminds me of the Ultimate Thor.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
He's a kind of a
He's a hippie.
mysterious hobo hippie.
But you know, the award for the
Hobos and
ballsiest
hippies.
costume has to go to Grant, mainly because it looked like he had a
Here,
giant
here.
set
Because my
hanging
balls were
out.
hanging out.
Yeah, it was Jim Lee's version of Cyclops.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Except no one ever told us that apparently Cyclops had the magic crotch of power.
Magic crotch of holding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
I was really disappointed we lost that Halloween podcast where every 5 minutes you guys were talking about my crotch.
Yeah, well, the pictures prove how much you were enjoying it. So
Yeah. There's one with me almost teabagging Jason. So we should put that up there.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's funny.
You'll appreciate
Almost teabagging is pretty much just as bad as
Yeah,
teabagging.
that's the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like being almost pregnant. Like,
Exactly.
Not really.
Yeah,
It's more
there
along the
are.
lines of like, I just didn't have the balls to commit.
I kept my Cyclops in my pants.
You know, he's not here tonight, but Chris Uncle Staple Nicholas had
had
a
the
great
best costume.
costume.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
he
did.
was the
Totally
winner.
did.
He was a Rusty Venture.
Yeah,
from
Dr.
the Venture
Venture.
Brothers.
Complete with speed suit and diet pills.
Although I did give him shit because he didn't dye his little
Well-
goatee. I was like, man, come on,
Well,
man.
but
Go to all
see,
that trouble.
To me, he took a big chance because, I mean, like, I never really thought of Chris as looking like Dr. Venture before. Now that's all I'm
Now,
gonna
That's all you can
Yeah,
see.
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean, it's like,
Seriously.
wow, that's so obvious. How did I never put that together?
Yeah.
And now,
But
If he
they're-
was as good at doing the voice as Bo was at doing Brock Sampson,
Yeah.
just forget it. I would laugh every time I saw
His
him.
voice wasn't so bad. It was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, actually, there was a bit like where he was wandering around Jason's backyard in the fake smoke of the, and he's like Brock, and it was perfect, just dead on. Yeah.
What a dick move.
We've got to
thought
get
Fungus-
everybody together that has Venture costumes and rock them out for a
Have one
a
Venture
photo
night.
op.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be Halloween. We should just dress
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Are there any black people in the Venture Brothers?
there's
well, there's the UPS guy from the
Jackson-
last episode.
That's true. And Jackson Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Triad.
Jefferson
Twilight.
Twilight.
Yeah, who's the blade
Yeah.
analog. Yeah, that's true. I did,
All right, I'll do
Fungus
that one
Monkey
next year.
Didn't you consider
showed
being
up
him
as
last
a
year?
Metalocalypse character.
Oh, yeah, I did think about it.
Okay, because
really?
I remember you discussing that.
Did you guys see that Fungus Monkey's outfit as a Metalocalypse guy?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that was
I
awesome.
thought that one was really good.
It was really good.
Oh,
Because
is that what
I-
that was?
I didn't realize that was him though.
Well, the problem for me is walking in with that eye patch I was wearing really cuts down on way more than 50% of my vision, about 70%. And it has this weird effect of cutting out on my hearing, too. So I was looking at everything through a muddy fishbowl, and people are talking to me. I'm kind of nodding, going like, okay, I'm sort of getting the gist of this. Not really, but I'm going to nod my way through this and move on to the next person. And so I'd look at costumes and barely see them. And even his, I was like, oh, hey, how's it going, dude? Later, when I crossed the room and took the eye patch off, I'm like, go! Metalocalypse!
Well, I guess
Yeah.
we're about ready for more questions at this point. Let's jump back in. Someone just asked about the Venture Brothers, but let's let it scroll for a minute here, since we just talked about them.
No, oh, well.
You're like, but I want to talk about the Venture
Is
Brothers.
anybody caught up? Has
more."
anybody seen all the,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
latest
couple
episode?
Yeah, I got
As of last night's.
Yeah,
well,
I
like
saw it last night.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one.
Holy
James
cow.
James asks, what's the league's biggest guilty pleasures?
Oh,
Like everything we talk about on this show?
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
That
don't-
would assume that we
I
have
can talk
pride.
about one that you guys never let me talk about on the show.
Project Runway.
My reality TV shows.
Okay, well you got that out. Let's next question.
I feel like we need Jason here for this.
Spider John, who we love, says, now that Flash Forward is a few episodes in, what does the league think of it? Now,
I think
still
I
got two
stopped watching it.
episodes.
yeah, I watched the first episode, and I think I told Leon this. I was like, look, it's not that it was bad. It's just if somebody said, okay, here's the basic idea. Everybody in the world at the same time is unconscious for 2 minutes and whatever it is, 17 seconds, and they all see this much time in the future exactly. That's the premise. Go. In 5 minutes, I would come up with every single thing that they did in that show because
Yeah.
that was just the most obvious
Absolutely.
things you could
Yes,
possibly
absolutely.
do. And I was like, okay, well, that was really just kind of dull to me
Yeah.
because it seemed so unimaginative outside of the actual premise. And from what I've heard, it just goes downhill from
It
there.
does, and the other thing is the reason Lost works. I think they were really trying to be the new Lost. Is because the characters are so good. You care about them, even if it's not like advancing the meta plot. The characters are good. The characters on Flash Forward were so one note and
Very
predictable, and
vapid.
they weren't characters. They were plot elements. And
Yeah.
that made a big difference. You didn't give a shit. They're going about, I'm going to be drinking in the future, and we're going to play this out for 6 episodes. I'm like, I don't give a shit if you're drinking right now.
Yeah, besides everything you guys said, they really screwed up with the marketing, just trying to push it as the new Lost. I mean, we thought it was going to be the new Lost
Yeah.
because they kept telling us that.
That's not
for
the bar
over
you
2
want to
months.
set. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, watching that first episode, I'm like, all right, I'm here. I'm excited. Let's go. And when it was
But-
done, I was like, well, I don't think it was bad, and yet
Yeah, if they pitched
it
it
ain't
as it's
lost
going to be
by
better
a
than the
long
4400, maybe that would have been the bar they needed to clear.
Right.
But,
If it could just be, it's better than Heroes.
yeah, well,
yeah.
it was better than Heroes.
Yeah, I was going to
Well-
say, you could tell that much from one episode.
But
I don't know. I mean, I didn't like Lost at first either, so I kept watching it.
Go eat your candy corn in the other room.
I think I kind of got poisoned against it before it even came on because I read the book that it's based on, and quite frankly, it's a very cerebral internal book where people are kind of reeling, for 60 pages plus about what they saw and how can we stop this from happening, or can we stop it from happening? What is the future? Is the future set in stone?
Right.
And I could just see people at the production company going, you know what this needs? Car chases.
Yeah. Well, isn't the flash forward much further too?
Yeah, in the book, the flash forward is 30 years,
which is a much better
no
deal because
kidding.
then you're not trying to match up to the 6 months is ridiculous. There could be tons of stuff where nothing's happening for 6 months. I mean, my life in 6 months isn't going to be hugely different. I don't think.
So yeah, you would have characters who are engaged, and they would flash forward and see themselves in bed with another woman. Completely different, who apparently they're married to.
Yeah.
See, it's not a bad premise. It just plays out badly, as near as I can tell. Plus,
Yeah.
okay, we are not okay. If you guys haven't seen, like, if you missed 2 episodes ago with Lost, tune out for a second here. Or if you really want to keep up with Flash Forward and you're a couple episodes behind, tune out. But Dominic Monaghan is on it, and he plays a villain.
Yeah.
And you know what? After everything that we saw that happened on Lost. I can't accept Dominic Monaghan as a villain at this point.
Come
I just
on,
can't
I
do
can.
it. It's too soon. It is. It's too soon. I'm still kind of mourning his character on
Listen,
Lost.
I thought about you saying this, and Charlie didn't die on the last episode of Lost.
No.
He
Like a
died
year
a season
ago.
ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's still too soon.
I don't think it's too
Charlie.
soon.
I
I'm just
honestly-
He's
glad
still a
he's-
hobbit to me.
I think if he was written better, you would have been able to accept him as a villain. I think it was the writing, not the actor.
Well,
I really.
I didn't even get to that episode.
Oh,
I only
okay.
watched the first one.
Well, he
Did
hasn't
you
been
cry
on
when he died in
yet.
Wolverine?
He's
too?
been on.
Like, but
Yeah.
once, but he's not.
Oh, is he not big on?
Wolverine,
Not big on
Wolverine
yet.
doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Wolverine never actually happened. So
I'm gonna keep watching it. I'll let you know at the end of the season if it.
Please
sucked.
do.
man, these guys are just still talking about other shit. Come on, what happened to the questions? You prompted them, didn't you?
And then they
They asked, and then we weren't paying
didn't
attention.
Answer one before.
You asked for a new question too soon.
Oops, that was supposed to be questions.
Maybe somebody
oh yeah,
who
here's a good
doesn't
one.
hunt
Dude,
and
Roger
pet
Dodger,
should-
you asked the same thing over and over again.
That guy says, so what video games are you guys saving up for, excited for? And I never buy new games, and I just bought Dragon Age from BioWare, which I pre-ordered.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, BioWare.
it didn't get
Yeah.
here today, of course. Fail. But still.
Yeah, there are 3 games that are going to make sure that I don't see the light of day for months. It's going to be Dragon Age, Modern Warfare 2, and Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, and I'm on for 2 of those. Not Dragon Age just because I don't have the time for it. I know it'll be great. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Modern Warfare 2. And I've been playing the Left 4 Dead 2 demo this last week, and it's great. It's so satisfying hitting zombies with frying pans.
Is that part of it?
Oh yeah.
Get to bash in there.
All I know is at some point I'm going to be on there. We're going to be fighting zombies. I'm going to turn around. There's going to be a clown zombie right in my face, and I'm going to scream like a little girl.
I'm still sad I never picked up Prototype, and everyone keeps telling me, really? You never got it? That game's so good. And I'm like, yeah, I just never got around to it. But my usual thing with games that aren't like, oh my god, I've got to own it, games like Dragon Age is wait till they get down to about the $35 range.
Yeah.
Because, $60, that's just crazy
That's
talk.
crazy talk.
Well, the only reason I can do it is when I get like gift certificates or found, lucky money from somebody.
Yeah.
And that just happened. But the reason I'll buy like Left 4 Dead 2 and Modern Warfare 2 is because everybody on my Xbox list will be playing it that week. And so I want to play it before everyone gets tired of it. If I buy it at the $30 level, everybody will move on to the other game, and I'm just playing it by myself at that
You're always
point.
falling for the peer pressure.
It's
there,
true.
Andy.
It's true.
I'm looking for a copy of Okami because I never played it. So
You know what? I used to have that. And I don't-
Okami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had that
for the Wii
for
or for the
sale for
PS2?
like
For the
$15
Wii.
Never
on
mind.
Amazon the other day.
Yeah, I know,
Okay.
I-
I had it for the PS2.
I know it's on sale, and I know that I can get it for the Wii.
Did you go on Amazon onto their
I'm
used
waiting
list?
to look. I'm waiting to look.
Because they're usually pretty good about that. Amazon's got good deal, and they even though I know Leon recently had some bad experiences
Dude,
with
I've
them,
had bad experiences with everybody.
But the thing is, they will absolutely refund your money. if you don't get it back.
that is
That's
true.
the one nice
That's
thing.
true.
I mean, buying through used stuff through other people through them.
Yeah.
Amazon will refund your money.
No,
if that other guy
Amazon
doesn't
refunded
come
my
through.
money on my bad deal. Half.com finally came around and sent me a refund yesterday. Google, I'm still waiting on.
Google.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What did-
Well,
Because
you
they have
shop through
Frugal.
Google.
I didn't even know you could.
Oh,
yeah.
Google checkout.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
Frugal.
I've never even tried it
Yeah,
before.
yeah. Do your search, and instead of web or image, click shopping.
Man, those guys are just going to own everything at some point, right? I mean, when their OS comes out for PCs,
Oh, I know.
it's like, just give it up.
Yeah.
That thing's going to come embedded with like "they live" type messages.
They'll be the ones who want to like carve the Google logo into the moon, and they'll have so much power, no one will be able to stop them.
Fuck it, let them. As long as I can have my Gmail and my Google Documents, they can carve their initials in the moon.
I haven't messed with Google Documents much, but I do love my Gmail.
Man,
I can't believe
everything Google does, I like save everything on Google. If they ever go down, I'm screwed.
I can't believe I ever used any other email server. But
I know, right?
So
Exactly.
great.
Hotmail, Yahoo, screw that.
And I'm really looking forward to Google Wave, getting my hands on it.
I don't know what that is. I still
no
haven't
one
been able
has
to figure-
ever explained to me why that's the new hotness.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either, but I want it.
Because they said it
It's
was.
a new integration of chat with email that's like instantaneous.
Yeah.
So
And-
you can share files at the same time as you're talking to someone and collaborate on projects like instantly.
All I know is that means some of my asshole friends are going to hit me with Goatsy as soon as I sign on.
I mean, you know how like in Gmail you already have a thing where on the side you have all your AOL things tied into it. The
Yeah.
idea is, you know, I mean, you get an email from someone, you know, and you open it and it can be like instantaneous. Like if they're still there, you can chat right back to them and they'll get it real time right then and there. Type
They'll
of thing.
actually
And it's
see you
You
typing.
can drag and drop files and do all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
It's
there's some YouTube.
super chat.
There's some YouTube stuff out there of the Google dudes talking about Google Wave and giving presentations on all of the, you know, the capacities of it. So
But that's the game we're looking forward to the most. I think we can say. For that.
pretty much Google Wave.
I don't think any of you guys addressed Wii, unless I was looking at the chat while you guys were. But Wii is coming out with the new Super Mario side scroller game,
Oh,
which
really?
looks awesome. It's
Yeah, I
it's
saw
gonna
that.
Oh, it's the original Super Mario with new graphics.
be it's updated. It's gonna have all four of the main characters. I think it's actually gonna be two Toadstools and then Luigi and Mario, and it looks badass. Oh, and A Boy and His Blob just came out, and I wanted to play that. Although I hear it's kind of meh.
I haven't even heard anything about that. But
I played that back in the 80s.
Yeah, they did a remake of it.
Back on the
looks cool.
original NES.
I did really like Mario Galaxy though. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I hadn't
Oh,
played a
hell yeah.
Mario game in as long as I can remember.
Mario-
so it's
I
like,
just couldn't
wow.
finish it.
It was
too long.
pretty.
It
Mario
gets pretty
Galaxy
hard
was
about
one of those
halfway
games
through.
where they would do stuff. You could see that the designers were having you do things just because it would be fun, just for that level, and they found the most fun way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just added to a little bit of surprise on each new level, and just kept it all fresh, and just kept reinventing the platformer, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saving up for the new Wii Fit too, cause
Is there a new Wii Fit?
yeah, I
What
like
happened-
me
what-
some hula hooping.
What's the difference between Wii Fit and a new Wii Fit?
Motion
It's-
Plus.
It's more than just a weight.
a scale?
A scale.
I
Yeah,
know.
'cause that's all it is. It's the Wii Fit, the ultimate fitness tool. It's a scale, which is actually true. That is the ultimate fitness tool because you get on your scale.
oh my God.
You get on your scale and it actually says, "Damn."
And you get a lot of
You're gonna
exercise
lose
from
some weight.
throwing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a game called Wasteland?
Wasteland.
Yeah,
Borderlands,
there's
maybe?
Borderlands.
Borderlands, that's it. 'cause
I've
they
been
keep
hearing a lot
advertising
about
on
that
FX,
game.
and they got the badass. They got this commercial that sucks me in. I'm like, man, I want that game. But I know the only video game that I'm gonna have time to play is Sleep.
That
That's
is
a good
my
one.
favorite game. And
That's a
I'm-
good one.
and you know
That's
what?
where I'm an astronaut.
Sleep? Isn't that totally insufficient substitute for caffeine?
I'll totally kick your ass in that game. Leah. I can play for much longer than you can.
Yeah, but
You're
I can,
like a bear.
I can play it anywhere.
That is true.
He can review a movie and play that game at the same time.
It's
I've
true.
seen him
Hey,
do
I
it.
can work and draw and play that game.
Somebody asked here, don't you think Deadpool's overexposed now in Marvel?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course
Yes.
he is. Yeah.
Deadpool is Wolverine in the 90s, who was the Punisher in the 80s.
I mean,
Yep, absolutely.
I like Deadpool when someone's writing him well. I mean, he can be very funny, but you know what? He's best in smaller doses. He really is.
No one needed 3 Deadpool books. That said, the one that's coming out this week or will have come out by the time it's posted, Deadpool Team Up. That's actually like the first one is like Deadpool and Hercules by Fred Van Lente, who's been writing the Incredible Hercules series. I expect that's going to be hilarious. So I kind of can't hate him for it because I'm like, well, okay, you're putting good people on this, but no, stop with 3 Deadpool series. We don't need 3.
You know, Randy, it's funny because I can totally recognize that Deadpool is overexposed. And yet, whenever I read a Deadpool comic, usually because Grant has brought it to me, I enjoy it every
yeah,
time.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're good, and so you're like, well, yeah, he is overexposed, but they're doing good stuff with him. But yeah, on just a general principles level, no.
You know what? I guess for me, like with Deadpool, it's so not taking itself seriously that there's not really a continuity issue. But at the same time, it's the continuity that makes me come back and buy books over and over every
Right,
month.
right.
And with Deadpool, it's like, hey, if I could just read one every so often when Grant brings one to me, I'm good with that.
Right.
And
yeah.
they are
Kinda like a
better.
soap opera.
They are better taken with
Jump
just
in when you
one every once in a while. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The thing they did recently in the regular Deadpool issue with him versus Bullseye was great.
I love
that.
Really
Yes.
liked that run, but it was in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff that was kind of lame. That
Right.
They did this whole pirate thing with him
Yeah.
lately. That's like,
But right now
Come on.
he's with the X-Men in San Francisco.
oh, see, every time he's with the
And-
X-Men, it's great.
I'm liking where that's going right now.
There's that whole thing where he always ends up wearing a dress with the X-Men. I'm not sure what's up with that.
Because he's just batshit crazy.
Yeah, he is indeed crazy. Let's go back to the Halloween party real quick. Anybody have like some particular really funny moments that happened during it, or favorite moments?
There
even?
was this time during the podcast where we lost it all.
how we
Yeah,
laughed.
that's
that was-
funny. Thanks for picking the scab off that wound. Dave.
Sorry.
You know, to go back to this, I think one of my favorite moments was having Corey come on because
Yeah.
he got real drunk real fast.
You know, that's what he does, though. I mean,
Yeah, and
well,
he was I love you all.
Yeah, I was about to say. 'cause-
Everyone goes on about how there's like beef between a couple of cold ones. Let's do this, and what are you guys called again?
Yeah, he goes, and this was right before he was like, "Oh, what's that over there?" Unplug.
Well, I thought there was like a little bit of steak tartare between him and Kristen and Allison, and I was real happy to see that get resolved. It looked like he
I
made
hope
sincere
it did.
apologies.
I hope it did.
I mean, he
Yeah.
like it wasn't just like the initial like I'm on air, let me give you a blanket apology, but like really wanting to track you down and say no, look, you've called me out, I'm wrong, and I'm really sorry.
What did I miss? I didn't hear about any of this.
Oh well.
Well, now no one knew.
Well, now
yeah.
you know.
Does it not matter now? I mean, what
Well,
was
it's
he
going to
mad
be
about?
on the Halloween.
Yeah, no.
Podcast. I don't think it's a
Once you say the
secret.
Halloween podcast, it'll be all.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It'll be completely clear once you read the Halloween podcast. Will give everyone a warm, fuzzy feeling once
Yeah.
you hear it.
I'd like to point out once again that was not my fault. I was not even in the room when it fucked up. And
Well,
you
who
guys,
here was in the room? Let's just take
I
care of that right
was.
now.
He
Yeah, I
was.
don't know. Was it when you and me?
I know what it is. I don't want to call the person out.
Yeah, I don't want to
so-
name names. He's gonna feel bad enough already.
Yeah.
And I genuinely like this guy.
And it
was a
wasn't-
party.
It wasn't
and,
on purpose.
And
It was an accident.
the
So it
biggest
was
problem was that
whatever.
everything got kind of confused when we had to change boards, and yeah, it was kind of a clusterfuck. There were cables everywhere, and you
And
just tripped
I
over a cable.
was the one who clicked continue on the recording, and we looked at it, and it looked like it was still recording.
We should have set up the room more so
So-
that everyone was further away from it, so it was easier to walk in and out of the room, and we didn't. So
I'm not blaming myself though.
it was
That sounds
partially
like
your
you are.
fault.
No,
yeah.
guys.
Like,
no,
you know,
wait.
if somebody has to pay for this crime, it's got to be
You know,
you.
well, now that I think about it, really, if you had just not done that, it would have
Oh,
been fun.
fuck.
or alerted someone.
If you had told me, we could have restarted it.
I'm actually like.
No, I think it's fine.
This is what you get for pulling the scab off the wound.
I get blamed.
yeah, you're like Jim on The Office. Like, no, don't watch the tape.
I had no idea. I had way too much to drink on Friday night, and so all day Saturday and at the Halloween party, I was just tired and not in the mood and wasn't funny at all, and just walked around like a little thundercloud in a Charlie Brown comic strip. So I'm not gonna cry too many tears, actually.
Well, one other moment I liked was Lisa at the party made these avocado margaritas, and they were so good.
That's right. I was saying on there how those avocado margaritas rival the Bojitos.
Man,
Oh no.
I mean, I had my beer, but I was just double fisting with holding that one too, and I was just like, I can't drink enough. It was so delicious.
Oh, I totally broke my rule of switching alcohols because I was like, well, Lisa, just pour me a little one because I don't want to get sick. And after a sip, I'm like, you know what, fill this glass. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, there was a lot of good booze to be had at that party.
And I was
Wow.
saying as well during that podcast that was actually by recipe. But that's
Here you
fine.
go again, man.
That's my recipe.
Whatever,
I gave
dude.
it to her. I stole it from Curra's here in Austin, but that's neither here nor there.
Sure, flaming Homer, flaming Mo, whatever.
Wait, are you saying I'm flaming?
Wow.
There was one thing most y'all didn't even see. It was towards the end, and for whatever reason, it was like Ghostbusters was 3/4 of the way over. But everyone who was
the
left
infamous
there
argument.
just kind of started focusing on it, and it just became I don't remember what was the okay
Ron
it became the center of attention for the party where we're all calling we're speaking the entire movie along with it. We're just reciting the film as it goes and all enjoying the fact that we're all that big geeks of it. But then somebody, I don't remember, was it Brian Salisbury?
I think so.
Who said Ron Jeremy's in this movie. I was like, sure. We're all like, what? Ron Jeremy is not in Ghostbusters. And guess what?
He is.
No.
Ron Jeremy's in Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
He
he's
is.
one of
There's
the
a crowd.
extras,
There's a
right?
crowd scene. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're watching the DVD, if you skip ahead to the part where the firehouse explodes, and Janine says, "Yeah, it's a sign, all right, going out of business." They'll cut to a crowd scene of people being held back by the cops, and if you look on the left-hand side, you will see Ron Jeremy with his little Super Mario mustache.
Yeah, we
staring up and pointing.
Well, I was like,
wow.
It's not easy to find, but there's a hairy fat guy fucking a chick way in the background.
yeah.
And next to him is Ron Jeremy.
Well, I mean, my point is like, look, man, this is New York. That could be a billion fat guys with a mustache and long hair. But sure enough, IMDb confirms that it was indeed Ron Jeremy. So, wow, how weird is that?
Wow. Speaking of contests, so Kayla came in a costume with the contest attached to it. Like, guess who she is,
And you'll win a cookie or something?
You got a Kayla cookie.
You got a Kayla cookie?
and you had to
Yeah.
text message her what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Or?
I don't know, but no one
Nobody
figured it out,
won.
No.
and I felt so bad for her because she looked so. I mean, just the
It
fact
was a
that
great
she was
costume.
It was an awesome
just the fact that
costume.
she was a character from a black and white movie,
Yeah.
and that she indeed had white face and black in all the right places. She cut her hair.
Oh, she went all out.
specifically. I mean, she looked great,
yeah.
but no one had a clue what it was, and no one had ever seen the movie it was from. So I felt
And the
really
one
bad.
clue
She was
we
so-
had was such a non sequitur.
Yeah. I
What
just
was the
didn't-
clue?
The paper cutout lobster that she stapled to her
Oh,
shirt.
right.
Well, I think I have a postcard at home that is that movie, like the poster from that movie, and I could see it in my mind, like when she did the whole like thing where she was like, oh, afraid, and the lobster's over her shoulder. I was like, oh my gosh, it was like in my mind, but I can't find it.
Damn.
So I can't confirm whether or not this is an invented memory or if I actually do
Yeah, don't you hate that?
would have won. But
Hmm.
yeah, you could have gotten a world famous Kayla cookie if you would have guessed it.
Well, shit. And let's see. Jason was Norman Bates, and Bo and Kristen came as it said as what Angel and who was she? from
Faith.
Buffy?
Angelus and,
Faith.
and Faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, am I completely wrong on that?
No,
No,
you're right.
No,
No,
you're
he
right.
was, he was
Faith and
Angelus, and she
Angela.
was,
Yeah, Bo just went the extra nerd mile, went as Angelus, the evil version of Angel,
Yep.
instead of just straight Angel.
with a kick-ass sword that he had bought for like $20.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
no.
a
that?
badass
Yeah.
sword. Both Bo
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
and Kristen all had real working weapons, so if that shit had gotten out of hand, everyone would have been dead but
Hell.
us.
Hey, I had a cardboard hammer, man. I could
I had a
have
realistic BB
got my
gun.
ass kicked.
Well,
I would have been completely
My
impaired.
eyes were really red. Oh, yeah.
I was completely impaired by my constrictive tail and would
I
have
was
died
mostly impaired
first,
by alcohol.
which is much more fun.
I guess it is. 20XX. I don't know if I'm saying that right. If that was supposed to be pronounced in some other weird
Is
way.
that 2020?
Is that hex?
20XX.
No?
That's
Okay.
what it says. It says, has there ever been a character whose origins have been exposed that you felt should have just remained mysterious?
Wolverine. Next question.
That is really I mean, I'm sure there are other answers for it, but they would all
that's the main
pale
one, yeah.
in comparison
Wow.
to that one.
He was not a kid in a wussy shirt. He didn't run out screaming.
Did they
Anima-
ever give the origin of the Savage Dragon? Like I gave up on
You
that
know,
book,
I
and was
think
like,
they did, but I don't remember if anybody gave a shit by the time they did it.
Okay.
Anima Troy says, should I go to Tribes, Austin Books and Comics, or Dragon's Lair? Huh.
Well,
I can't
as
think of
the
any
owner of
other-
Rogues Gallery, I'm going to say you should go to Rogues Gallery.
Any other comic book stores that are worth going to?
Yes, go
There's
to
a 7-Eleven that
Rogues
has a
Gallery.
comic book wheel.
Well,
There's something
around
down
it.
If
off
we-
a man shack
if
somewhere.
we're narrowing it down to just what's been asked, I think we got to endorse the guys who've like let us have a podcast in their shop.
And given us prizes a number of times, Austin Books. But if,
However,
if Randy's store was here in Austin, they would be sharp competition.
but yeah, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, both stores spawned from Dragon's Lair.
Yeah.
But I would say about Dragon's Lair, if you are hardcore into games more than you are comics, then that probably is the shop for you.
Oh yeah, Dragon's Lair is the game shop, but yeah, if you're shopping comics in Austin, really, and I say this as the owner of Rogues Gallery, Austin Books just kind of kicks ass.
No, we all know this. That is one of those things. It's like, man, I mean, between you and Eric, you guys could have been the best man at at my wedding, and
Right.
still I'm like,
You're like,
I
yeah, I
gotta
gotta go to Austin Books.
You know what Austin Books has though that Rogues Gallery doesn't, that y'all really need?
What's
A
that?
giant statue of a superhero.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing how much that Hulk statue does for that store. I mean, you want to go in there just
It
to
ties
take
it together.
pictures of it. Yeah, it's like the rug in The Big Lebowski. It's true. Just don't pee on the
Yeah, we
Hulk
just have to
while
get rid of all our
does.
graphic novels if we wanted to have it in there. It'd be a problem.
Yeah, that's probably true. You don't
And
need comics. You just need a superhero statue.
I do have to say that as a girl, I've had really bad experiences with comic book stores kind of just punking me off, and you're not punk enough to shop in this store.
Yeah,
and
I know what you're
you
talking about.
ask them questions and they just sort of like wave you off and go to the mall. But Austin Books is totally not that way, and you can go in and ask for
Because
anything.
like Rogues Gallery, they're a bunch
Rogues
of
Gallery
dicks.
better not be that way, or I'll kick somebody's ass.
And of course, that's
Yeah.
that's just kind of one of the mysteries of nerds in their little nerd cave. Cute girl in store asking about comics. Ha! She knows nothing about comics. Be gone with you, Heath.
Oh, I think it's totally a power thing. It's like girls rule our lives in every other aspect, and they're like, but here I am king, and I get to, and I'm like, you realize you just blew off the only chance to actually talk to a girl. You're an idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's some sort of revenge thing. Maybe it's even like a fatalism. Like, well, I know I'm not going to score with this girl anyway,
Yeah.
so she can go fuck herself.
That
Yeah.
said,
Oh, yeah.
the stores that I've been in Austin, Austin Books,
much
Tribe, Dragon
friendlier.
Slayer, and Rogues Gallery
Yeah.
are all have been pretty female friendly.
And this
Yeah,
is Austin
it's true.
after all, which
Yeah.
as cities go is friendlier than most.
Yeah.
Very friendly.
Yeah.
Very much so.
We got another question from Oblivious. We're going back a little bit here. Who says, any comic book character you think is underexposed and want to see more done with that character?
Oh man, I'm sure there's 100, and I can't think of any.
No.
There's just not enough Deadpool.
Yeah.
What Deadly Shrike? Come on.
You know who I like
Rocket Racer?
in Marvel is
Raccoon.
Paladin. He's like their Soldier of Fortune character. They have him in Thunderbolts, but they've been using him sort of weird. I've always thought that character to be really. He's basically just a Soldier of Fortune who's got a little stun gun and a purple costume that shouldn't work but does when the right artist draws it. I always thought that guy could support like an ongoing if someone did it properly.
I always saw him as a poor man's Deadshot.
Interesting. See, no, I think Deadshot's more amoral. I've always thought of Paladin as sort of basically more of a good guy kind of thing.
Really, a good
Yeah.
guy who's an assassin?
He's not an assassin. He's a mercenary. Different.
Oh,
And in superheroes, mercenaries can be. Luke Cage is a mercenary, and he's
That's
a good
true.
guy.
okay, fair
So
enough.
I think superhero mercenary, not real
He's
mercenary.
a
where
mercenary with a very strong sense of sticking to the law. And
With
Right.
a how to
and
go.
That's right.
Because every time I think of Paladin, I always think of him like, wasn't he a Daredevil villain?
No. Bendis used him in Daredevil as like a guy who took a sniper shot, which was kind of a weird use of him, I thought.
Because I'm just thinking back to a Gil Kane cover from
Huh.
way before Frank Miller's time.
See, I remember him from the Roger Stern Avengers, where he was like dating the Wasp, and Black Knight was like the good guy, and he was the bad boy, and
Oh.
I don't know. I always like that character. I could definitely see more being done with him.
Huh. I'm almost completely unfamiliar with him. I don't
Yeah,
know
there's
how
not.
that
I mean, he's
happened.
fairly obscure. Probably.
I guess that's why you need more
Yeah.
of him. I guess somebody said that about, was his name Necron or whatever in Blackest Night?
Right. He showed up in like 2 issues of Green Lantern and is like, oh, this guy can control the dead. He's gone.
Yeah, well, it seems weird because it's a cool character idea, and he always had a cool design, and they just abandoned him years ago. But even so, he's so obscure, and the fact that all through Blackest Night they're going percentage level 30%, percentage level 45%. You're like, it's like dun 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 dun. It's like that Aliens music. Dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun. 100%. Hi, I'm a completely obscure character. You're like, what the fuck?
Wait, is this the latest Blackest?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
read it yet.
Yeah. Sorry if we just spoiled last
Wah,
week's
wah.
comics for you.
Well, it's
everybody.
one of those
Jesus, you guys. Like last week, that's pretty soon. I understand stuff like when it's Preacher, that was years ago. But
Cyrus is the new spoiler
Yeah, no
sidekick,
shit.
the ruiner. Oh God, they're probably gonna run with that, aren't they?
They are.
talk about underexposed characters in the Green Lanterns. When is Nort gonna come back? That's what I want to see. He should have a part in Blackest Night.
Nort.
Yeah, the dog
Nort,
Green Lantern.
yeah.
Nort.
Oh.
Yeah, he should totally get one of the other Lantern rings. I don't know which one would fit him, but it would be great to see him go like defect from the Green Lanterns because they're
No, I want to see him as a Red Lantern.
Yeah.
Be foaming at the mouth.
Exactly.
I was also reading on League Lounge boards. I think people were complaining a lot that Jon Stewart has just kind of disappeared off of.
Hello,
Green
that's my
Lantern.
answer. It's like on the JLA cartoon series.
He
was a fucking
badass.
man.
Yeah, he's a man.
And then the comics.
In the
all of a
comics,
sudden
he's like,
gone.
well, what do we do next, Hal? I'm with you, Hal. What do you say, Hal?
Why would he be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that? That doesn't
It
even
makes
make
no
sense.
sense.
Well,
Well,
except for every
obviously-
once in a while, there would be like, "Hey, John, remember when you kind of screwed up and killed an entire planet?"
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, wow,
Well,
really?
thanks for not letting me pass through that one, guys.
It's like, I'm pretty sure everybody here has their back.
Yeah.
Every
Hey.
Earth Green Lantern's got something big.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hal, remember when you wiped out the core?
Right.
Shut the fuck up,
Sorry,
John.
I'm the only one who ever fucked the pallet.
Hey, Guard Gardner, you're still an asshole.
You know what? I kind of want to see a character that never used to be big, that pretty much launched the Vertigo line, that since more or less disappeared, is the Swamp Thing.
Oh, I know.
I mean, he's just gone from Vertigo.
You know, they did so many. I think Swamp Thing's one of those things where Alan Moore did it, and it's such a legendary run. Nobody's been able to measure up. Brian K. Vaughan did a run on it.
Who you think would be the
Um,
perfect person to write it?
I don't know who you. You know, honestly, if you got Grant Morrison to do a Swamp Thing run, I'd read that.
I don't know. At this point, like I said, I don't trust Morrison anymore. I think he's bought too much into his own press that he doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks anymore, and that's bad for a guy
I don't
who's
know.
as
I
crazy
mean,
as he is.
All-Star Superman was fucking awesome.
It was,
and
but
that was
even
fairly
that,
recent.
even that in the middle of it kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
Because there was a point in the middle
Oh.
where there's an issue in there where I stopped reading it, and then
Wow. See, now there were.
I let 2 issues go by, and the one sorry.
That was your way of interrupting you.
Shut up, Randy.
There-
See,
there-
now the Bizarro stuff, I did
He
think the
said,
Bizarro stuff was weak, but I didn't think it was
"Are you
awful.
angels?"
I just thought it was down for the rest of the.
No, we are men.
Hey,
we-
don't spoil All Star Superman too much right now, because I just got the first trade
Grant,
from
it's brilliant.
Santos.
I'm just
Thank
saying,
you, Santos.
There's the issue where Jimmy Olsen's dressed up in drag, and I was like,
I love
all right,
that. That was great.
That's a little bit too much for me.
All right,
But 2 issues later, I thought it bounced back really strong.
There's one that I wish he's not really obscure so much as just neglected by DC, and that's Hitman. Like, for God's sake, when are we going to get the final graphic novels collected?
Yeah, well, they
DC?
finally solicited trade 2, which means that at least they're planning to do more of them.
The
yeah.
thing about Hitman is when he first started, when that book first started, which was what's his name?
Garth Ennis.
Garth Ennis, thank you. It was like, he was still doing Preacher, and he was like the hot guy. He still is kind of, but that was when he was like, everyone was still reading Preacher every week and going,
Right.
oh my God, this is the best book ever.
Right.
And I'm picking that up. I was like, wow, I got like 5 issues in and just dropped it. I was like, wow, this is crap by comparison.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I just hated it.
I actually think Hitman. I like Hitman better than Preacher in some ways. And I love Preacher, but if I had to choose one, like in a fire, I would take Hitman in a second.
Wow. Well, it'd probably be worth more because there aren't as many issues. Now.
Well, but it also really got into the characters in a way that even Preacher didn't. Because it focused mostly on, it became very much a character book rather
buddy
than a
book.
plot-driven book.
Yeah.
Whereas Preacher always had the over-arc of, where's God? We've got to find God and kick his ass. Preacher really was just the wacky adventures of a couple of hitmen living in Gotham. And it got down into a lot of the stuff that Ennis really excels at. The bond between brothers of choice rather than of blood.
Right.
Manly men doing manly things, and also the sacrifices that people make for friends and family.
Right, and the question of whether or not a hitman could be a person.
Yeah.
That Tommy
Or
sort
an
of
honorable
evolves in-
person at
yeah,
that.
Right, whether or not Tommy could actually do some good and. Well, not even do some good, but sort of like become a person and become a human being essentially, instead of just a guy who whacks people for money.
And just because it was kind of funny, he also tried to join up with the JLA. He showed up at the auditions mostly just so he could use his X-ray vision on Wonder Woman.
But who wouldn't? Seriously. I'm sorry, but Superman ain't that good.
But you know what? For him, it's probably a point where he's just seen so much, it just doesn't do anything.
He's
for
like a
him.
bouncer at a strip club. It's
Dude.
just like every day for him.
I mean, sure, when you're just walking down the street, but that's Wonder Woman.
He's like for 2
mean-
years when I was a teenager, my X-ray vision kicked in. I couldn't turn it off. I've seen so many boobs.
She's a girl who's probably like 80, and she doesn't have a stretch mark or a wrinkle or a blemish anywhere on her because
Neither
she's
does he.
perfect. Yeah, but you'd be looking for something like that. Which, speaking of, really, they never got it, even tried it out together.
Claremont did a miniseries where like the two of them were stranded somewhere for like 1,000 years or something, and I don't think they got together then either. So
I have a theory. Because Wonder Woman's got a lasso. She's probably into like kinky stuff, and Superman's a little too vanilla.
Superman has been spending so much time with Krypton, with aliens. He is into some seriously weird shit. If you don't have 4 vaginas, he ain't got time for you.
And to be fair as well, you're Superman. I mean, you could be like there having sex with Wonder Woman and go, oh man, I'm just losing. I'm not really into this. Hold on, I'm gonna go fuck a girl over in this other star system real quick. She wouldn't even know you were gone. Comes back, but she'd totally be able to tell you were lying.
That's true.
That's true.
That's probably why they haven't gotten together.
What relationship is going to last
That's
if
right.
the girl can tell you're lying?
Yeah, her power is her weakness. There's no way. No guy's with a woman who can always tell when you're lying.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
bad idea.
So,
Especially when she's got you tied up.
over in the other galaxy? No, baby, that's it. Yes.
I
it wasn't
can't lie
me.
to you.
Yeah, her power works when she's got you tied up and powerless. You can tell her the absolute truth. That is a bad combination.
The only way that even having that rope for her works is if being as hot as she is. Because really, you're gonna let a homely girl tie you up? No. Wonder Woman's just like, hey baby, why don't you put this on? Okay.
She's like, no, that's not the truth-telling rope. That's some Ace Hardware stuff I had. That's cool. It's cool. No, I promise.
Waiting for new questions here.
Is that
Grant
the
is
holdup?
playing the role of Cyrus on the thing because he's my servant. So
Oh, I like that one.
Maybe we could do this one real quick.
Which one?
Seeker asks, what's a favorite song of everyone in the league?
Well, I
favorite
guess we just have
song?
to say right now, if anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like right at the first thing that come to your mind.
Yeah,
or
right
something.
now from Van Halen.
Thanks
It's
to
pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, God. thanks to Mary, since she she was listening to my iTunes and heard a song from Tenacious D from their television show that she was unfamiliar with. I've just been hearing that over and over again.
Which one? Explosivo?
No, that was the one that was stuck in your head.
Yeah, it's what's stuck in my head.
It was Cosmic Shame.
Oh, yeah.
So she'll just walk and look up to me. I'll be working on something. She'll just go, "It's Cosmic Shame." I'm like, God damn it, that's gonna be stuck in my head for like 20 minutes now. I do love it, but
Yeah.
So I can't be the only one who has an answer for that.
Well, I've actually right now just bought the Fly the Conchord second album, and I'm loving that.
Sugar
The
Lumps.
song, especially Sugar Lumps. Actually, the rappers, I Got Hurt Feelings. Also
Okay,
just
Her
cracks me
Feelings.
up.
Her
Yeah.
Feelings is good. I'm all about
That's
Sugar
my
Lumps.
And Both in Love with the Sexy Lady is also quite funny.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I've been listening to Alt Nation on Sirius lately, and there's one song that came up that I had to get my hands on later. It's called "Baptized by Fire" by Spinneret, and damn, that woman sounds like Debbie Harry and the Dead Kennedys had a love child and just made him listen to a whole lot of Lou Reed growing up.
That sounds like something I'd like.
No, it's really good. You should check it out.
I gotta say, like, for all the different songs and music I listen to, there's 2 songs that I find I can listen to over and over and never get tired of. And one is Billie Jean by Michael Jackson and Deacon Blues by Steely Dan.
Huh? Those are both good choices. Although it's funny, didn't you get into Steely Dan relatively recently?
It was only a few years ago. It's weird, like Steely Dan and grapefruits and just there's certainly certain foods that, or certain, not Steely Dan's a food, but just certain things that have been around my whole life. And I'm kind of like, yeah. And just recently, in the last, 5 or 6 years,
Started listening to it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually avoided it for a long time because there's something about it that's kind of elevatory, you know what I mean? And if you're not really paying attention to Steely Dan, they can be kind of irritating. Like if you're listening to a Led Zeppelin block and then someone goes, "Here's some Steely Dan," you're like, "Gay? What is this?"
Well, yeah, I mean, they
off.
kind of started that whole rock jazz fusion, like the elevator music that you're sick of. It's sort of like they're the grandfather of that, by not trying to do that. But you listen to all their songs, almost all their songs are about getting high or just getting drunk to the point of killing yourself.
Yeah, I mean they are named after the what was it, the vibrator in Naked Lunch?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean these guys aren't as innocent as they sound from the
No.
outside.
They don't have any not even a single sappy love song at all.
Yeah, they're actually enormously talented too. Once you sit and pay attention to what they're doing, it just has that sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, on the surface.
Fusiony sound that can be kind of.
Yeah. If you're not paying attention and Hey 19 is on, you're like, can we turn?
Yeah.
It's just like when you get into the rest of the album.
We can ask it.
What are we gonna ask? Tom?
My favorite song, I don't really have. I don't know why. I think it's just Right Time, Right Place.
I thought you said Right Now.
No,
Keeps happening.
That.
And that's not even one of the David Lee Roth songs.
No.
It's
Doesn't count.
Everlong by the Foo Fighters.
That's a great song.
And I think that video is by Michel Gondry, if I'm correct.
I
and
believe so.
their video is just great too. But every time I hear that song, I love it.
The Foo Fighters like the one band that's on every single one of the like guitar type games. It's like them
Yeah.
on
Is
the
that
ball.
right?
Well, yeah, and Rock Band keeps putting out DLC, and I love the Foo Fighters, but I think I've hit my limit.
Well, they need to stop doing more.
Yeah.
Like I mean, excess of the same bands. Like they
Yeah.
just put out more Nirvana stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, guys, there's already enough Nirvana on
Yeah,
here.
we need some new
Let's-
bands. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we need some more of the
Yeah.
people you're sadly lacking.
Of course, they also
songs
put
from.
Queen out, which is kind of cool.
Yes, the Queen set.
Oh yes.
Okay, so who's doing Tenacious D?
What now? Oh, they put like 5 or 6 songs on there now.
Yeah.
finally.
Nice.
Now that's one
Still
band
no
they need
Fucker
another
Gently,
4. They need another 4 or 5 songs on there.
Actually,
Did everyone answer the favorite song?
I
Yeah.
think so. Do we go around? Yeah, I think we're around.
Okay.
Okay, well, did you? I heard you like kvetching.
Randy
over there,
has
but-
a particular question he wants answered.
This may get me in
by
trouble, but
Steve-O Arome. Does the league read any manga?
because I know this is a verboten topic, but I actually have been reading some manga lately.
I read tons, honestly.
I don't
by,
even know how to pronounce it. apparently.
Manga. I've heard it both. There's an author named Naoki Urasawa.
Oh hell yes.
Thank you. Harris will back me up on this. And he's got 3 series being translated in America. One is already done. It's called Monster, and it's basically sort of a long suspense serial killer type thing. And the other 2 he's doing right now is Pluto, which is a reinvention of Astro Boy, which is actually like a sort of murder mystery where all these robots are being murdered. And it's amazing. And they're doing something called 20th Century Boys, which is a big Stephen King-esque kind of thing where all these kids invented this super secret supervillain club when they were kids and made these plans for how they were going to dominate the world. And then they get to be in their 20s, and somehow this stuff starts to happen. And this organization is like this guy called the Friend is like building a cult and getting political power, and they think he's building a giant robot. And it sounds goofy as hell, I know, but it's actually really, really effective. And they're basically like these nobodies in their 20-something lives are having to get together and try and stop this massive evil conspiracy because they came up with it when they were kids.
Huh.
And this stuff is all just fantastic stuff.
See, yeah, you took the words out of my mouth because especially Monster. Monster it's like the only way I can really think to describe it is it's almost a long form version of The Fugitive.
I was gonna say The Fugitive, definitely. Yeah.
But it's not quite as simple as The Fugitive, either the movie or even the 70s TV show was,
No.
because it really ties into a lot of like the iron, the Cold War and the life behind the Iron Curtain, where it starts off fairly simple. This main character, Dr. Tenma, he's a brilliant surgeon who saved the life of a kid rather than a major donor to the hospital.
Dr. Tenma, like the father of Astro Boy?
Yeah,
I think that's a reference
I think
because
that's
he was
deliberately a
obviously a
reference.
big Tezuka fan.
Okay.
And as a result, he's his career at that hospital has been cut off because the donor died, and big political mistake there. But all of a sudden, a couple of years later, all the people who were really harassing him, who were getting in the way of his career, start dying off, and they die under mysterious circumstances. And all the evidence points to Tenma, who realizes early on, wait, it's that kid I saved. He's fucking with me now.
Damn.
And it starts off fairly simply, but the more he investigates who this kid is, Johan, the more he finds out about it, and more
Right,
it
it
has
goes
to do with trying to raise child soldiers in Bulgaria by the communists, and it's
Right, and he introduces all this vast array of characters, and a journalist who used to be a spy, and this gets this big ensemble cast. The Fugitive is definitely a good comparison, but it's if Richard Kimball, instead of solving his wife's murder, stumbled into this gigantic conspiracy relating back to Cold War weapons projects.
And
that kind
ass
of
rape
thing.
with tentacles.
And was ass raped by tentacles. No, that's a different book. That's every
exactly.
other manga.
yeah, no,
I'm
this
sorry.
it's
these
done.
These guys have just found their own fan club at Leon.
Yeah,
They've just cemented their own followers right here.
yeah.
And have fun with that.
Wow. I smell
No, I
return
will
of
not
Jalfi.
talk about Nagima with you, you fucking pervert.
Yeah, and also I don't watch anime. Sorry.
Really?
Nope.
So you read manga,
I've-
but you don't.
Okay, I've watched Cowboy Bebop a couple episodes, and I think that's about it. My wife has watched Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, and I've seen that.
Which-
and I've seen Akira. I
Which
guess.
brings us, well, yeah, but that's, there's a
doesn't
difference
count.
in anime theatrical films
Right.
and anime television series. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they use the same term for both. I mean, is there a different term for?
Not really. I mean,
no,
all
there should be.
anime means is it's just a word they use that means animation.
Because there seems to be a pretty big differentiation, whereas the films tend to be, really well thought out animation wise. I mean, like they get into detail and they're really impressive to watch. Whereas the TV shows, a lot of them most of them that I've seen bits of, seem to reuse so many of the same cells in a way that
dude.
bugs me as an American.
Well, that's
viewer.
just
Same-
American
same-
cartoons too.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say,
that
that's the same
used
over
to.
here.
That used to more, but now they do this thing where it's a still picture and they'll have the background moving while it's obviously a still image of the character, and you're like, okay, that's really weird, and I find it distracting.
Well, that's just a time-saving device.
I
really.
understand that.
Hanna-Barbera.
No, I totally. Yeah, but I don't watch the Hanna-Barbera stuff anymore. I'm a grown-up.
The same thing you're
so,
saying
you know.
about Japanese animated movies versus Japanese animated TV shows. It's the same as with the U.S. Every once in a while you get an American show that'll have absolutely mind-blowingly good animation like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but those are pretty rare,
They're
few and
rare.
far between.
But
I mean,
this is what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Is that I understand that that's a time saver and a money saver. It's necessary. Animation's expensive as hell to do, and a lot of people, that doesn't bug at all. More power to them. I'm not saying this to say these are bad. I'm saying these are why I personally have trouble
No,
watching
I understand.
it.
I mean,
because why there's so few that I will watch. I really need to see ones
there's
that are
such a
interesting
glut.
enough.
There's such a glut with the anime TV shows, and so much of it that is just cranked out. That limited animation you're talking about, or just more of a limited appeal to the subject matter, that it's not always easy to find the good stuff. But it is out there. You just have to have somebody who'll be the sniffer for you and go get it.
Oh, and I concur. Almost anything that is the higher end of animation, I will spend the time and check out. Most definitely. And there's
Plus,
a lot
the
of stuff I have.
The more time you spend drawing the backgrounds, the less time you have to draw the tentacles, and you really want to put the detail on those.
Although you can blur out the vagina, apparently they have to do that.
Yeah, have
to. But no, Leon just brought me the complete Cowboy Bebop, and you know what? I'm goddamn well going to watch it. So
I hope
I'm
you enjoy it.
looking
I like
forward
Cowboy
to it.
Bebop.
Does that have the movie with it as well?
You know what? I didn't inspect it enough.
Okay.
They were sent to me by Rogue Dragon.
If not, it's easy enough to
yeah,
find.
you'll find the
you
movie.
can find the movie.
And the
easily.
movie
In fact,
the
I
movie
have it
takes place
downloaded
in the middle
somewhere.
of the series too.
Well,
so.
they're about to put out Netflix for PlayStation, where you don't have to buy the box. You can use your PlayStation as a streaming thing. It's $9 a month for unlimited downloads. I'm like, well,
there you go.
Yeah,
we're
it's
getting
fantastic.
that. Did y'all have anything else you wanted to say about manga before we move on?
Before we
Since this
never talk
happened
about it
so
ever
quickly.
again.
Well, those are the big highlights that are out right now. There are others that are good, and a lot of them, unfortunately, are just typical
Yeah, there's
genre
some terrible
crap.
but there's some good stuff out there. But I actually would say manga people, the Dark Horse stuff is actually usually more guy oriented manga.
Yeah.
The, MPD Psycho.
Actually, the other one that I would recommend for especially for here is called Blade of the Immortal.
Oh yeah.
It's a grim and gritty samurai story where the main character has been cursed with immortality. He's basically been told because he was known as the 1,000-Man Killer. He's been cursed, and he's going to have to basically make up for having killed 1,000 people. And until then, he can't die. You can cut off his limbs; they'll reattach. It starts off, him helping out a young girl. It's very like Samurai Champloo for you listeners who've watched that. But again, much like the way that Monster started off simply and turned into something convoluted, it turns into the end of really this era of the samurai in Japan and the beginning of modernization. About the end of Japan's isolation with the Dutch having more and more influence over them. Sword schools are suddenly no longer as relevant as they used to be, and also really starting the influence of Western medicine into a place where it was forbidden to study. So it gets into a lot of really interesting subjects and covers a lot of really good territory.
Wow. So nothing you do, you cut this guy up and he still stitches back together and he can't die.
Right.
Sounds like.
Well, amongst the other problems is it still hurts. So if you eviscerate him, he doesn't get to go unconscious. He gets to be aware of it as, first as his guts is spilled out, and then as they slowly retract into him.
And he falls in love all the time with teenage girls, and he's always like, I have to live forever.
Right, and then he moves to Canada and goes in the Weapon X program.
Oh,
Go ahead.
moving on. Mexicano asks, what comic book major event crossover would you like to see a live adaptation for? In either Marvel or DC, such as World War Hulk, Blackest Night, whatever.
A
Live action or animation? 'Cause
I'm thinking live action.
I don't know what the hell he's.
God, I mean,
I see.
I'm just envisioning.
So
I'm
what-
envisioning the challenge of the superheroes with Mordru on the jet ski at this point. That's why I don't want to see any of them as a live action
Yeah, I don't
adaptation.
think so he's not saying crossover between Marvel and DC.
No,
he's
like
saying-
specific
He's just saying,
crossover events.
Would you like to see done live action?
Like,
Yeah.
would you like to see
This-
Civil War done with live actors rather than
I mean,
on paper?
I'd say
No.
Blackest Night right now, but we all know from experience that these big events can often start very well and then end not so well.
Well, and also live
So-
action. It'd be. I mean,
If
just
I was-
imagine.
Well, this is fantasy.
Yeah,
so-
Yeah, you
Well,
don't
I
worry
mean,
about
I would-
whether or not it can
I would probably
actually
go
happen.
with like using the characters who have already had live action movies. They've already been established. Just because there's no need to really rehash the origin and use up any story with
Right.
that. And it's already been done. So like, okay, they have this down. We can just focus on what comes after this. So that said, I don't know. Is there enough to put together a World War Hulk just from the live action movies we've had so far?
They're
don't
making
think
a
so.
Planet Hulk animated.
Animated, yeah.
Right.
But we're
Um,
nowhere near that
video.
with the live action
Yeah,
stuff.
Like
I mean,
live.
Out of everybody in World War Hulk who is involved, all you've got are the Fantastic Four and Iron Man, and that doesn't
And-
cover nearly,
So Spider-Man wasn't a part of it.
No,
and the
Spider-Man
X-Men?
wasn't. X-Men weren't, except for peripherally.
Yeah.
I mean, the main players in World War Hulk besides Hulk were Amadeus Cho, Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and the Sentry.
Right.
oh,
All right,
God,
that's
we
a
don't
hard
even
thing to
want-
do live
Okay.
action.
All right. Screw
If
that.
you could
Never
take the
mind.
Sentry out of it,
Because if you're talking about animated, like I would love to see a Secret Wars animated. I would love to see the original Secret Wars as an animated
Yeah,
movie.
that-
yeah.
that
Hell,
would
I'd
be a
like
lot
to
of
see the
fun.
newer Secret Wars, the Brian Michael Bendis
Yeah.
thing.
See now, the new Secret War, I wasn't a huge fan, but I think that you could probably do as live action.
It actually, I
There's
think
no
that-
costumes.
As
you
read
could
it-
you could even like not even necessarily make it obvious that it's superheroes. Just have
Yeah.
them call them Logan, Steve,
Yeah.
Peter.
See,
as you
that I
read
think
it,
could
it
work.
feels like it
Yeah.
was a script, kind
Yeah.
of. You know,
Yeah.
it's done very cinematically, and you're right. I think it would translate better as a film. I mean, that's only kind of a crossover,
Right, it was one
I mean,
miniseries,
if you were going
right.
to go with like events you'd like to see, I'm like, hey, you want to do something interesting with the Spider-Man stories? Let's see the other. You know, I'd love to see that. If you're going to do something, let's get away from what we've been doing with the Spider-Man and do something, you know, a major change in tone.
Yeah,
to
I would
the
want to
series.
see if they were going to do that. I would want to see like Kraven's Last Hunt.
I'd like to see. Well, see,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Kraven's Last Hunt. The problem with that is so much of it is internal dialogue that makes it so
Right.
good. How do you translate that to the screen?
You gotta
so
get a
much
really,
of that is
really
the
good actor.
running
Yeah.
Kraven thoughts as they get crazier and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, that's a great like run in there, but I don't know if you could do it cinematically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
James asks what Leog member would win a dance-off.
Oh,
Leon.
you.
I would totally win.
Would you?
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never
I-
seen you dance, but Grant, I've seen dance anytime there's been alcohol around.
If I was 13, I would have won because I had tap danced for years and years.
Yeah,
But
When
now,
does tap
not so
dance
much.
ever win a
When is that? When is that?
If you're talking about best quality of dance, I
If
would
we're
win.
talking river
yeah, that
dance,
never wins a dance off. What are you
It
talking
does
about?
if maybe the guys from American Idol were judging.
This ain't Dance
all I'm
with the
saying is I
Stars.
was at the swing club in college.
Huh? You were at the swing club in college?
Not the Swingers Club.
No. My
Swing
girlfriend
is
wasn't
hard.
that adventurous at the time.
I was wondering why you had those Popeye forearms for. That explains a lot.
I don't know.
I
That
guess
Grant
that-
has some killer moves.
I've never seen
He
Grant
does.
dance.
You just have to hold on to your beer when he's dancing.
Maybe it
Yeah.
was just like staring into the sun.
I think
was
the
like,
only
just
way to
looked
solve this is a
away.
dance off. Go.
No, I've seen Leon
Everybody
break into
dance now.
his Michael Jackson dance routine, and it's incredible.
It's not incredible.
Thank
you, though, but
it's
it's not.
incredibly depressing.
Incredibly awkward, yeah.
Did you see the Today Show video with the Ewoks?
The
on
drunk
it?
Ewoks?
The
Yes.
drunken Ewoks. They put these midgets in the Ewok suits because everyone on the show is dressed up like Star Wars characters, and the midgets in them were drunk. I mean, they were really drunk, and they were getting into a fight and stuff. And the guy was like grabbing the ass of one of the women there, and the one of them started moonwalking and doing Michael Jackson moves. It was awesome. You got another question for us, or am I just gonna hang here?
I'm looking at these.
Are you, really, guys? You can't think of any
I mean,
good questions?
a lot
on,
of
you
them
guys.
seem to be like kind of repeats of things we've already addressed. Hey, Fish is on here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, Fish will ask us
We
something
miss
good.
Fish.
Right.
Fish, where are you when we need you to not say anything in the background?
So, what do you think about the Savannah spill party?
I think that we're definitely not going in March because that's my 40th birthday and I'm not spending it in Savannah. But
Dude, Savannah's awesome.
yeah, but I kind of want to spend it with a lot of people I know. Just saying.
Well, maybe we
Other
could
than
all
just
go.
you guys.
We can make it a.
Yes, but I'm gonna have to see friends I don't see as often. It's my 40th birthday.
Okay.
But maybe
I know.
you could do like we could go to this. Wait, is there a specific date that they've
Well, I
set
think they've
for
already
it, or?
blown that one off because
Oh.
Kristen also suggested you don't want to get anywhere near there during St. Patrick's Day. It's like,
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think
okay.
you should have it sometime in February.
Well, here's the thing: is I know that I'm going to be going somewhere already in February
Okay.
as well, and they're suggesting June or July. It doesn't matter.
Ew.
It doesn't matter to me when we go. We're just going to probably be there for a weekend anyway. And
Yeah,
most
just
of the
a
time
weekend.
they'll probably be indoors somewhere.
Yeah.
So it won't really matter what the temperature's like. But I think it would be fun to do like a convoy. You
Yeah,
know, a couple
hell yeah.
cars with all of us and everybody wants to go.
That
and
would
just
be
convoy
awesome.
to Savannah. That would
Convoy!
be so much fun. We
Yeah.
got a big old convoy.
Let's do it.
A caravan.
I'm all for it.
I'm not riding in the car with Bo because I know what he's like after he has his Taco Bell.
Crack the window. Just make him wear one of those trees as a necklace.
Hey, what did I
I'm
say
su-
that
I'm
was mean?
surprised
Ewok
that-
Princess
Oh,
is saying
great.
that I said
Thanks,
something
Fish.
mean.
Thanks for choking.
Oh, Oblivious asked a question on behalf of Fish saying, do we miss him? My reply was no.
I miss Fish.
Well, Jason
I
says,
totally
or
miss
Fish
it.
says,
Okay.
what will it take to make me a full-fledged member of the league?
Being
well,
able to take Bo in a fight.
M-O-H-A-H-A.
living here would would help. Finish college, seriously, and then come back to us, and we shall discuss it.
he won't want anything to do with us once he gets
Yeah,
back.
I know.
Yeah.
That's true. He'll have some big job working for Pixar or somebody
Pretty
like
much.
Yeah,
that.
it'll be like, hey, weren't you one of those members of the league? No, those losers. No.
So
Hey,
what?
Fish? It's like, excuse me, what did you call me?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, you know, he's still young. He feels like he still hasn't sprouted yet. We're going to see him next year. He's going to be like 7'1".
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. He's going to be beating us up.
So what do we got here? You tell me
Fish
there's
is
still
gonna
no
come,
good questions?
come up to me. Oh, you thought you could take my place?
No, sir.
No, just keeping it warm for you.
We love Fish, and we're proud of him, and keep up the good work. Let us know if you ever get laid.
Great kid.
Man, we got to go down there and get him rip roaring drunk.
Yeah, we got to get
Well,
some girl at the parties at Rip Roaring Drunk.
Yeah, that too.
See, that'd be totally
Just
fun.
saying, if any of you all have looked at Fish's wish list, all I'm saying, they, just little, trip to the strip club,
I don't know if they have that on
couple of
Amazon.
poppers.
I believe he just hung out with Zeke Slider this last weekend.
Oh, did it already happen?
Yeah.
He did.
Damn it.
It would have been nice. I like Zeke Slider. He's a gooder.
No, me too. I was gonna send him some stuff.
Yeah, I gotta say, if you're gonna do that, let me know because I'd like to add
Well, I
to that
wanted
package.
to do it while he was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because then you could just send it to Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. You can get his real address and do it. He doesn't live in,
I guess that's true. It's not like he's in Japan like
Right.
Mikado.
which we're gonna send stuff to anyway
Right.
because we love Nikado too.
Right.
He's awesome.
All right, poor Covenant has asked this question like 8 times. So
He
I'm
really
just going
wants
to go
it.
ahead and say it. Do you think DC and Marvel should admit they have no continuity and accept the term Claytonuity for their universes?
Apparently,
What the
What?
fuck
No.
is Claytonuity?
No, Claytonuity is a horrible term. No.
Yeah, Covenant apparently. Yeah, no offense, man. I'm sure you thought that was very funny pun, but
Covenant, quit making
and
up words.
I understand. I've been there. Usually 3 or 4 times a week on recordings, so it's all right, man. But no, that is fail. Sorry.
Yeah. Steve Rome asks, since Steve Rogers is coming back to life, who should wield the shield?
Steve Rogers. It's
Well, I
his
mean, if
shield.
Steve Rogers is coming back to life, clearly he would wield the shield.
See, no, I don't.
But-
I don't think they should. I think they should give it. I think Steve should move into sort of an elder statesman role and let Bucky keep it. He's been a more interesting Cap.
I completely
and I
agree
love
with you.
Steve Rogers.
I just think that's not what's going to happen.
I don't know.
it's not going to happen. No, because they've got the Captain America movie coming
yeah,
out.
Yeah.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, I just so love the idea of Bucky as Captain America and Dick Grayson as Batman.
Yeah.
But they still are far from coming into their own. I mean, so much of their internal dialogue is like, yeah, I just wish I could do it like my mentor did.
But don't you think that's because they cut them off at the knees instead of running with it like they did with, say, Wally West as the Flash?
Yes, no,
they go in planning to fail.
I do. I totally do. I wish.
Yeah,
I wish
they
wouldn't do that. I wish they would give them the full chance.
That is my one biggest gripe about comics today, at least mainstream superhero comics, is that they don't allow actual progress and growth as the characters. Every time something like this happens, Dick Grayson takes up the mantle. Bucky becomes the Captain America. They build in a time limit to like, oh, don't worry, he'll be back.
Usually I'm okay with that because usually I want so the icons to be the icons, but in both these cases, both the Batman and Cap, it worked. They sell better than they used to. There's more interest than they're used to, and yet they're already planning to go back.
Yeah, it is lame. Even the comics always revert, even if it's been longer with the reversion.
Well, I can't believe they finally went back to Barry Allen.
Yeah, that's the part that's getting me. It's like Wally West was great as the Flash,
and he had earned the
Barry
role
Allen
at that point.
Barry Allen's sacrifice was excellent. They should have left him dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or can you say Peter Parker not being married anymore? Just saying.
Hey, you know what? This is not a popular opinion, but I was real upset when they brought Hal Jordan back.
I know you were, but I think the only reason, and I understand your point of view completely, because there's no question what they had been doing was fantastic and better than it had been in a while. And Jeff Johns did such a good job doing what he did that it was kind of hard to really hate it.
Well, that's why I'm not still holding a grudge about it.
Yeah.
But it was the kind of thing when they were like, oh, we're bringing Hal back. I'm like, you know what? When everybody bitched about you guys killing Hal, you said, so what? Get with it.
Yeah.
And after a while, it was like, okay, I've accepted it.
Yeah.
But
It's the learn to take yes for an answer. At that point, I mean, I did not like Kyle Rayner. I was happy to see Hal back, but I sort of respected DC less for doing it because they'd won. Kyle Rayner was Green Lantern, and that was it. And they didn't need to worry about the fans that wanted Hal back because there weren't that many of them.
Yeah, that's true. I think that it's just, Jeff is very into remembering the innocence of when he was young and the comics he read when he was young, and he loves bringing stuff back full circle, but he's so good at it. It's like, well,
that's the big difference between him and Quesada is that Jeff has managed to do it in a natural feeling and organic sort of way
without abandoning the other characters.
With the exception, like I said, of the whole Wally West thing, just because it's been over 20 years. But
I'm so glad you said that because I've even with this rebirth of Flash, I'm just not feeling it.
The same thing is true though that we're saying here of Captain America. What happened with Bucky? Was there anybody who was happy or pleased when they said, "Guess what? We're bringing Bucky back from the dead"? And
everybody thought it was
Captain
a horrible
America.
idea. Yeah,
we all said that's the dumbest idea in comics history, and yet that was our comic run of the year last year.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, Quesada tried to roll things back and tell everybody, "Oh, these are stories we couldn't possibly tell while Peter Parker was married."
Yeah.
And first of all, yes, they are. If you were really that desperate to have, Peter Parker not be married, it wouldn't have been that hard to have a spin-off title, just another Spider-Man the early years.
Right. Which they've done several of.
And when they were doing it was great. They had Kurt Busiek writing it. It was excellent.
Yeah.
Well, do we have Allison, is there something you would like to talk about?
What?
You've been quiet for a while now because we've been talking about superhero stuff that you don't follow as much.
No, that's okay.
I would love
interesting.
to bring up something that you are excited to talk about, though.
It's very interesting.
There
I'll
is
wait
one
for...
thing in particular you had a question that you were gonna bring to the Leog.
Oh yeah, I did have a question. Well, that other people had been posting in the Ask the League post, and that is, what are some things that we're thinking about for future Leogs?
What does the future hold? And
what does the
would you
future
like
hold
for us to discuss?
And I was thinking about that on the way here in the car, and I don't know, toys maybe.
That would have been my answer.
Yeah, toys or
the elusive action figure.
Geek related.
I wonder how that would go, just because we're all of just different. There's gaps in generations. I'm sure I might be talking about something that just doesn't gel with everyone else, but it could be.
That's what would make it interesting.
Yeah, but that could be really fun.
I honestly never really got into toys, so I'd be more of a sideline for this. But if that's really what y'all want to do, I don't have a problem with that. Toys are just never
Or
my thing.
related
You're
geek
covered in toys in this
paraphernalia.
room.
No, most of the toys that I have are either like board games, really, which
Video
I don't
games.
think of as a toy, or they're like the type of action figures that were gifts from someone that never come out of the packaging and just get nailed on the
That's
wall like
okay.
a poster, you know.
That's okay. I have those too. That would be included in the toy.
Because
quote-unquote
Leon likes
category.
to. I've been to his house. All his toys are out and they're around and they're all like around his desk and his little sandbox he plays.
Hell yeah, I
in.
respect that.
Thank you.
You're not supposed to leave them in the package.
Exactly.
Played
Got to
with.
be like a kid where you used to take your G.I. Joe, strap him to cherry bombs, bury him in the backyard, set him off.
Right.
Yeah, no, I remember going to a guy's house, and he had all the original Star Wars action figures all around. It's like, man, it's a fortune here. And I was like, dude, you buy all these off eBay, or how'd you track them all down? Oh, no, these are all mine. They're originals. And I'm like, seriously? You got these as a kid? You never opened them? No, my mom wouldn't let me open them. I was just like,
That's so
that's the
sad.
saddest thing I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
it is.
Well,
Wow.
the second you left home, you should have opened every one of them.
Yeah.
Then called your mom and sent pictures.
When I was a kid, it would never have occurred to me to not open.
No.
my
No
action
kidding.
figures.
Why would you?
Well, when
Yeah.
we're- when you're
to be played with.
Yeah, when you're a kid, it's like, don't crease the box. Hell with that. The box is just another playset.
Here, you have the box. You love it so much. I'm
For
gonna put
me
it in a
now,
toy.
it's not even like
the boxes.
it's not
You know, hey,
value.
Fido, quit chewing on Luke's head.
It's not value to me why when I get these things now I don't take them out of the box. And like I said, I never buy them. They're always gifts given to me. It's because it's easier to keep them in the box and hang them on the wall if I want to see them than it
Yeah.
is to take them out because I got nowhere to put them if they're like, not in something I can hang them on the wall unless I make a little noose or something and tie them up there.
Yeah, I did buy the Watcher action figure, and that's sitting in the box. Because really, he's the Watcher. What am I going to do? Get him out and play with him?
What happens? Just stand there.
Hey, watch her action party.
I'm just going to glue him to the tank of my toilet.
Now touch your boobs. That's a good one, though. What else are we going to talk about in future Leogs?
Well, man, you guys keep threatening a Joss Whedon episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I would say.
The main thing is we keep saying, like, we want to sit you and a few other people down who haven't seen stuff to watch some of the key episodes, which I'd love to do at some point. Of course, the music episode we've been talking about forever, that's actually pending on me getting in touch with someone who's a pretty big name in the industry who I know will come and do this. It's just a matter of timing. I don't want to really say who at this point.
Okay,
but,
that's fine.
But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting them here, assuming it
Well,
all
and
works out.
I think the Mayans prophesied we were going to be doing some kind of show in 2012. No, something else. I'm sorry. That's,
Yeah,
I love that whole, like,
we're not gonna be around.
It's like, I hate to tell you guys, but their apocalypse happened. That shit is pretty much over. And besides, if they were so wise and brilliant and everything, and
Thank you.
and were tied into hidden powers, pretty sure their civilization wouldn't have ended.
well, no, they're living inside the Earth with the mole people now.
Oh, well, that all makes sense. Okay, I
Go
did
follow
not
Spartacus
know
to the
that.
sun beneath the sea.
It's funny on some levels. Like I love fantasy, obviously. I mean, we all do.
Sure.
But it is kind of irresponsible to me the way that they promote this type of stuff. And the director Roland Emmerich is like, look, he says it's just a fantasy. I don't believe in this. Of course
Right.
not. But it's a fun thing to play off of. I'm like. Yeah, but all the marketing and everything
Yeah.
in the film really is driving idiots into a fucking frenzy.
On the other hand,
ever since
is that
ever since Y2K proved not to be the end of the world, people have been latching on to any end of times prophecy they can get their
I
hands
think
on.
long before that, my
right?
friend.
Also, do we really need a world full of people who think that 2012 is the end? I mean, aren't we better to get rid of them now?
Hail Bop's coming back around, guys. Drink the Kool-Aid.
It's happening, guys. You better just get on board.
Got all
Move with me to South America. That place is not going to get hit.
What about is my stash of beans? Is that going to be safe? Will it help?
I mean, Grant, if you really thought it was happening, would you be wasting your last 2 years here with us doing this?
What other choice
Yes.
would he have, honestly?
This is the highlight of my week.
He's not
Come on
getting
now.
invited to the South American island. He's just not on the guest list. he said.
Yeah.
But he's on our guest list.
Aw,
So.
that means the world to me,
Always.
guys. Seeker has a question I thought would be interesting for Allison to answer.
Oh no.
Who would play the Sandman in a live-action adaptation? Who is it that you see when you look at that guy? Since you just love him.
Well, okay, if you're going off of the early drawings,
Yeesh.
I think it would be interesting to have kind of like your Adrian Brody kind of character play a Sandman, because
That's a good
he's
call.
thin and kind of brooding and
But not pale.
classically
See, I would
handsome.
have said Daniel Day-Lewis.
too handsome.
I like the Adrian Brody. I hadn't thought about it. That's perfect. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Someone posted a bunch of sexy Brody pictures.
I
for you.
know it was Maven Cree, and thanks so much because that just made my Halloween. He's gorgeous, but he's not typically handsome, and Sandman wasn't handsome, so I think that'd be a good match.
Sandman really doesn't. I mean, I can't say he doesn't have qualities of being handsome or not. I mean, the guy was having sex with humans all the time. I mean, he was the
there's
ultimate.
girls like me everywhere.
He was the ultimate emo chick. Really, he was just like, oh, why didn't she love me? Oh God. I mean, in that way, he's kind of a douche.
Well, he was more of a douche because, like, she doesn't love me. I banish you to hell.
Yeah, that's true. That is
Like
kind
you wouldn't do it.
Yeah. The only difference between him and us is he has the power to do it.
and get away with it without question.
Yes.
Well, until Lucifer comes over and says, "Here's the keys."
Yeah.
All yours. And then all the rest of his family's like, hey, just because she dumped you and you sent her to hell, that was kind of a dick move.
Dick move.
But as I was
Big
watching A Christmas Carol, which we just reviewed, and it has, I don't know if it'll even be up on the site by the time this goes up. We'll see.
Yeah.
Presumably it will be. We were admiring its design, how every film they get a little bit better with its design, especially the main characters. And I thought, what if they got these guys to do the backgrounds and the endless characters, but then live actors for all the humans for a Sandman adaptation?
That'd be nice.
That would be awesome, because that would be one of the times where the uncanny valley would work in their favor.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you want them to be a little unhuman and off-putting. Yeah.
Exactly.
Where it's like, they're still really realistic, but yet at the same time, they're clearly not.
So
of
maybe
us.
more like what Cameron's doing with Avatar.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Exactly.
Which looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, the newest trailer for that is pretty darn impressive.
Told you, Grant.
Actually, I saw it and I thought it did look a lot cooler.
I'm sorry. I've seen that 15-minute preview they showed at the IMAX, and I'm sorry, it's Fern Gully Goes to War.
The thing is, I even said to Leon when we were talking about this earlier this week, I said, well, it looks like one of those films that big failing might be that it's going to be hitting you over the head with its message to the point where you just want to throw up. I'm as environmental as the next liberal Democrat, but even I don't want to hear it yelled at me for 2.5 hours in the middle of a fucking action movie.
Well, Cameron's good at what he does, but he's never been that subtle. If you think about it, the bad guys in his films are always very much bad guys.
Yeah.
And so I did wonder about that too.
And I can normally stand romantic movies. I'm not a fan, but Titanic made me want to throw up.
Wow.
Damn.
So it was just way too just gross.
It was a bit much.
I'm trying really hard not to preemptively hate on this movie because it looks awesome. It's going to be amazing in 3D.
Well, and it's Cameron doing action. That doesn't happen.
Exactly. But the problem is the plot is Dances with Wolves.
Oh, no.
Maybe so. We'll see, though. I mean, I'm definitely, despite feeling some of the reservations that you've mentioned, Harris, I'm still giving it
reservations.
I see what you did there.
I'm still giving it the benefit of the doubt. Covenant, I apologize to you. Your pun was better than Leon's.
Spider John wants to know, what are we currently drinking? And I thought that was a funny question today.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yes. Water.
Whiskey.
Vodka.
Cranberry and vodka.
I got nothing.
Oh,
Sorry.
you guys are drinking? Man.
Oh, those
I
guys
You're
are
not
drinking.
wrecked still from Saturday?
I'm still hurting from
My
the
liver
weekend.
is mightier than you all.
No, you're just younger than us all.
Yeah. I got drunk on Friday. Saturday I was abstaining, so it's vodka tonight.
Yeah, I was shocked to see you Saturday because
I
how
was
much you were
so
drinking on Friday.
hungover on Saturday. It was like the top of my skull was barely attached, and my brains were straining to get out.
Flames on the side of my face.
Pretty much.
That's how I feel. Like I had that feeling like the motor mounts on my brain have come loose and it's just
Yes.
kind of banging against the side of the skull.
Yeah. It was
But no, I
bad.
was fine. Like, man, I was really drinking well this whole weekend. I mean, 2 Halloween parties where I drank a lot and yet had no hangover. That never happens to me anymore.
Yeah.
I was hungover after the Leog because I just, the thing is, like, we all hung out till way late. It was one of those, like, okay, let's record. All right, that was fine. And usually everybody just kind of packs up and we casually go. But that time it was like, fuck it, let's just keep drinking. And there was a point we were just doing another glass of whiskey every 10 minutes and watching movies and joking around. And before you know, it was like 6 a.m. And I was like, wow, I can barely stand up.
Yeah, I was thinking, I came rolling in home. It was 4 in the morning. I was like, fuck, I never do. I was like, oh, wait, daylight savings time. It's only 3.
Yeah.
I know.
And I'm like, yeah, but it's really 4. Don't kid yourself.
I was actually pretty well behaved at the party, all things considered. But.
You were a good boy.
I was a good boy. Besides, it was Dos Equis. You can't get drunk off that.
I have a question going off of something I think actually Fish was saying. Bryan Singer is saying he would come back for X-Men 4, but he's also
Why?
kind of campaigning for Superman.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, what do you guys think of? Well, first, what do you think of him coming back for X-Men 4?
You know, Bryan Singer, you can have X-Men 4 if you will sign a document saying you'll stay the fuck away from Superman. How about that?
See, Leon and I are the two who actually like Superman. I understand that people were expecting something really different, and I understand that, yeah, he did take too much from Superman 1 as it was. Like, there was too much just directly lifted from it and placed right into here. But that being said, it was a chancy move, and it was a very different type of Superman story that I thought was really interesting because of that.
Because I liked it in the movie. When I saw it, I liked it in the theater, and I came out of it liking it. But the more I thought about it, the less I liked it, and now I actually intensely dislike it.
Well, I'm the opposite, because when I first saw it, I had that feeling of like, yeah, but, and it didn't really have an ending, and it was too much homage. Happened to see it a second time and absolutely fell in love with it because I love it for all the things that are there. I mean, and I recognize what's not there that should be, but for what he did, it's like, man, nobody's ever done this with this character before. And I left with such a feeling like, wow, now that he set all this up, I can't wait to see what he does with the next one.
Yeah.
And now so much time has passed. It's like, wow, is it not going to be
It's
that
not
next
with
one?
him. Not
No,
with
but I feel like he really he deserves and he needs that shot to like go like, okay, this is the full vision of what I wanted to do.
My only real problem with that movie is that the characters are too ridiculously young. I mean, this is supposed to take place after Superman 2. Right. Okay, yeah, he kind of looks like Christopher Reeve, but he looks like Christopher Reeve as a teenager. That doesn't make any sense. He would have made a fine Superboy, but he does not look like Superman.
Well, he's the same age Christopher Reeve was when he did Superman 1.
And yet, Christopher Reeve just looks older and more mature.
And then there's also the fact that for someone who's supposed to be this, well-traveled, well-seasoned, hard-boiled reporter, Lois Lane looks like she should be covering Teen Beat.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. Well, and she didn't have the presence, I didn't think, either.
That's kind of an annoying thing about movies in general, especially in, like, the 90s up until now, is stop casting teenagers to play 30-something people, please.
That was a refreshing thing about Iron Man. It's like, wow, we got a guy who's 40 years old.
And hot, still hot.
And it worked.
Funny, some of the most successful TV shows cast much older actors
this
to play
is why
their
I like
characters.
TV than movies right now.
Exactly. They get mature actors with lots of experience to come in here, and it's great. But all the movies, they're all like 19, 20 years old. And you're like, oh, God.
Well, that's because Smallville started that.
Out of it.
Well, they're they're trying to get the biggest, broadest audience they can get in to make the money on their movies. So we got all the teenagers in, which means we got to cast teenagers. Whereas TV, it's just like, well, if we get good actors and we have good stories, then maybe people will watch.
And as far as the X-Men, I think maybe the only guy who come in and save that right now is Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
He is really good with big ensemble casts, and he proved it with X-Men and X2.
Yeah.
X3 and Wolverine are such utter pieces of crap.
Yeah.
He should get them to sign a deal that says, look, I'll come in and I guarantee you I'll make a good X-Men movie, but you have to give me carte fucking blanche. You have to stay out of it, and I need this much of a budget that, there's no take backs.
And this much time. Don't tell me it's got to be out. Yeah. Out of curiosity,
no Indian giving studio.
You guys like Superman. Would you rather have him, if you could only do one, would you rather have him come back and do another X-Men, or would you rather come back and do Superman?
I'd rather have him do Superman, in as much as X-Men has had its shots. It's had its 2 really good movies.
Right.
It had its 2 crappy movies. Matter of fact, Wolverine was like way lower than anything I expected.
It counts as 2 crappy movies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost like, they've had their run. It's kind of done for me.
Yeah.
Even him coming back, I don't know if he could really pull it out of fire or if it deserves to have that.
X-Men actually needs a break and a new generation of people playing.
That's what I was just about to say.
It's been pretty well driven into the ground. I mean, let the comics kind of take the lead for a while, because like Matt Fraction's doing awesome things with it right now, with it having been relocated to first to San Francisco and now to their own nation again, their own little island country.
That trick never works.
The X-Men is a metaphor for homosexuality. Moving to San Francisco, what a surprise!
And then an island. What are they trying to say?
I did like when Magneto shows up and they just like, hey man, you always want to start shit when you come around here. He's like, no, I just want to tell Cyclops, good job. But fuck you, Xavier. But see, this guy's really doing it.
But didn't it seem like one of them should be saying, hey, Scott, don't buy it because he's done this like 5 times.
Oh, that's what Professor X was saying.
Yeah. But he was like presented as the wrong one, and I was like, no, he's right.
Oh, I know.
Or Reed Richards to show up and go, do you know what this douchebag is doing over in the Ultimate Universe?
But I did expect Magneto to like just kind of shake his head and go like, tried this, doesn't work, but
Yeah.
good luck.
Right. Yeah. Good luck with your island. Mine got blown up by Sentinels.
You know, it's funny. I've noticed here looking at some of these comments that people are a lot meaner in the chat room than they are everywhere else.
I think
man.
it's because they know that I'm chatting with them instead of you.
You think that all the questions
Respect
seem
goes
direct-
out the window.
It all seems
And to be
directed
fair,
at me.
Grant does have a very punchable face.
Yes.
Okay. Was there another question?
We can go with one more, I guess.
Yeah, let's just do one more question, then we'll wrap this
All right.
one up.
Mexicano wants to know if we were cast in a movie, who would play each of our roles?
Oh,
We've
boy.
done this one.
We've done this
I
one
love
so
Mexicano,
many times,
but we've done this
too.
one to death.
Wait,
well-
I've never been participating
All
in
right,
this.
all right,
Okay,
you guys.
But I have no idea.
We'll
so-
let the new guys say.
Yeah, Harris, do you have anybody? I mean, I never know this question.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a tough one because you got the obvious choices, like you're going to want to say Samuel L. Jackson for Leon. Maybe I don't know.
Is that
Maybe
it?
we could convince John Cusack to eat a lot to play Cyrus.
Can't whine, eating.
Hey, I totally would not kick him out of bed for whining. So
What about for eating?
What about
neither.
Cyrus?
None of the above.
It's like that Seinfeld.
Allison, do
where
you have any
George-
idea? Who would you cast to play you in a movie?
I have no idea.
Jennifer
I,
Garner.
Ooh,
Oh
That's
my God,
what
I
my
can
mom
see that.
says.
Yeah,
I can see that.
See that.
Now you see that? You always like want to fight me on it, but the minute I say it, everybody.
Oh, yeah,
agrees.
totally.
That's
no,
a good one.
that's what my mom says. I'm not agreeing. I'm just saying someone else has said
I'm sitting
that
right here
before
next to you, and when he said it, I'm like, bing, and I'm never gonna.
Yeah,
not
no,
see it
seriously,
now.
yeah, that's actually kind of creepy. now.
I kind of also like Rachel Griffiths from Six
6
Feet
Feet
Under.
Okay, yeah.
Well, she'd be
Okay.
older than you.
She could
Okay.
she could play Allison more. I don't
But
think
she's a
I'd
great
garnered
actress.
in the range.
So.
Okay.
Or,
okay.
and I'm not talking about personality here of her character. I'm just saying the way she looks. The woman who was Dexter's girlfriend in season 2. I forget the actress's
Oh,
name.
I
yeah,
hated her
Lila.
in that.
Yeah, Lila. Yeah, well, I'm not talking about her character. I'm just talking about
Okay,
her
the actress,
appearance,
yeah.
her
No, I can
She
physical
did a
appearance.
good job. I didn't like
I'm
put it-
sure that as a human being, the actress does not behave that way.
Hopefully.
As much as I want to believe that, various people like Harrison Ford really does travel around the galaxy in a Millennium Falcon, and
Fighting
He does at this
fatties.
point.
yeah.
In his
And-
mind, he does. He's senile.
And quite frankly, the only person I could really see playing Bo, not necessarily for looks, but just for sheer volume, Brian Blessed.
That much is certain. But we're talking about
You guys.
Yeah.
We've already
I have
discussed
I have
the rest
no
of the
idea.
league.
I'm like trying to think for Harris, and I got nobody for me. I have no idea.
I don't know. People keep coming up with different ones for me every time. They're like, you know who you remind me of? I was like, okay, let me go through the list. Anthony Michael Hall? No. Kenneth
Oh,
Branagh?
Anthony
Good
Michael
one.
Hall
Yeah.
is a good one.
That's a
yeah,
good
that's
one.
a pretty good one.
And I should have kept my mouth shut on that one.
Yeah, but the older Anthony Michael Hall. Now that
Yeah.
he's
The one in
buff.
The Dark
Yeah.
Knight.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
not geeky.
yeah, not the geeky one. You like
Yeah.
the
He
could play me.
personality of the younger one mixed with the
I
body
agree.
of
Honestly,
the
with
older
I
Randy,
like that one.
Don't kill me for this one.
Oh,
Paul
boy.
Giamatti.
Yeah, you know that
I was
actually was
gonna
so
say the
suggest-
other guy, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
See, I would like to be as cool as either one of those gentlemen. I've got no problem with that casting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
John Belushi who didn't
Here,
die.
here.
Oh, you mean Jim Belushi?
No.
Oh, God,
I
that's-
definitely
no.
don't
Cyrus wouldn't be
mean
that mean to me.
No.
No, that's one of those cases of everyone's looking at God going, why did you take him and not that
yeah,
one?
Obviously,
Oh.
there's a quality of the performances you must
The
have
other
missed
John
along
Belushi,
the way.
Chris Farley.
Oh,
See,
wait, he
Chris
died,
Farley
though.
was actually kind of talented. I think that if you had given him time, he eventually would have gotten good movie roles. But he was stuck at that period when they were just smacking out Saturday
If
Night
you had
Live
given him
actor
time, he would have
movies.
just died like the
Yeah, I was
next
about to
day.
say, there's only so
If you'd
many
given him time,
donuts
you'd have to
and-
get him away from Andy Dick first.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
that's a good role for anyone, actually.
Oh, yeah, that man's
Um,
like the angel of death in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's true,
Wait,
right?
he's the angel of death anywhere, I'm pretty sure.
This is rumor going around though that Gibby Haynes was from the Buttle Surfers was involved very indirectly in the deaths of both River Phoenix and Kurt Cobain. Now, like I said, this is all like apocryphal stories, like just people talking.
So the Grosse Point Blank style, where he was like putting poison into their mouth.
No, no, he was-
Yeah,
So-
well, you know who else was also involved in those deaths?
What?
Heroin.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like the night that River Phoenix died, he was at the Viper Club, and supposedly witnesses say, just allegedly, that Gibby Haynes was goading him on, like, come on, keep up with this, come on, try this. And then with Kurt Cobain,
Tie off, bitch. Come on.
supposedly, allegedly, Gibby Haynes was his roommate at the rehab clinic and was giving him shit about his wife and his life, and
And he was
everything,
like, "Hey, let's
being a
take turns
jerk
putting
to him."
shotguns in our
That,
mouths."
like I said, all this is allegedly, but that's always been one of those big, like, I don't know. I mean, I'd be pretty upset if that was true and I was Gibby Haynes. I'd be like, damn.
Yeah, I would too.
It's like, thanks a lot, dude. Why don't you go hang around with George Bush?
The guy, sorry if we're going back to the casting, the guy I always think of for Jason is Jonathan Banks.
Really?
If he was here, he should punch you. For
Yeah,
that.
he would hurt
Come
you
on,
for
Jonathan
that.
Banks is a
but-
badass.
But when he was younger in Buckaroo Banzai, I still kind of see it.
Oh my god.
What, when he was just the guy who
know.
had that tiny little scene working at the
Yeah.
psychological clinic?
Yeah.
When he was in Beverly Hills Cop as the really douchebag flunky?
I don't know.
Jonathan
Well,
Banks.
I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to be mean to Jason, even though he's so kind to me all the time. I don't know.
Okay,
I
that
kind of
does
see a
kinda,
resemblance.
that does kind of look like him. You're right. But he's too old now, so that's neither here nor there.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Wait, Jason or Jonathan Banks?
Both.
yeah, Jason's too old.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's a
Yeah.
Leog.
we
We're wrapped
answered
up.
a shitload of questions.
We
That's
did.
right. Nobody can bitch about us not answering questions.
Yeah, even though
anymore.
y'all didn't ask all that great questions. I'm just saying.
Oh.
I mean, when we look at the lists, there's always so many great questions. I always feel so bad about we're not able to answer them. And like some of y'all put some thought into this, but most of y'all were like, just like, come on, man, we
what's
have
your
to answer
favorite
that
color?
question
Red.
3
No,
times. Yeah, fair enough. We didn't give you a lot of time to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, on short notice, I think we got some pretty good questions.
I know. Well, it's true. I'm the fail. But that's it, and there's only one thing left to say.
Long
live the league!